Are you ready? And we're back. Episode 57? 57, right? Right? Yeah, episode 57. I'm your host, Matt Musselwhite of the I Hate the Scene live stream podcast, your number one source for new music. Tonight, we might be your number, at least like 52nd source for wrestling info. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Bryan Kern.
I would have to say that we're easily in the top 4 for wrestling sources on a Friday night. I would say
Bitter Rose is back. What is up, Bitter Rose?
What's up? I think we're having a special guest on, so I think we're pretty high up in the ranks. But yes, once again, it is your twisted sister of metalcore scene news.
I like an Alabama sister, like
why we're twisted sister. Okay, well, anyways, the reason that we're Twisted Sister, the Twisted Sister version of scene music, is because we enjoy makeup, tight leather, and we peaked in the late 80s. And for those of you that are following here at home, me and Matt were born in 1987, meaning we peaked at birth. Yeah, that's right. We peaked at birth. Cutest little kids you've ever seen. Nothing else going for us since then, Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bitter Rose. Hard to believe you're already 18. God, our little baby's all grown up. Okay. Shouts to Jordan Tupper, Wolfpack for life. All right, so you were red.
Here we go, baby. Here we go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. For life, baby. Let's go.
We are about to bridge the scene kid wrestling gap big time. Or we are about to alienate our core audience.
We're going to alienate all our fans, and they're going to hate us forever. But you know what?
Happy birthday, Bitter. Yeah, we'll find out shortly. I'm stoked. We never had an actual wrestling guest. We came close to getting someone from Impact Wrestling, and that fell through multiple times. I've definitely blown up the email for AEW. I've stalked several wrestlers on Instagram. Sorry, El Phantasmo. And this is the first. So this is the first of many. I'm stoked because this guy is like really picture perfect, like sculpted for our type of podcast. He knows music, he knows entertainment, he knows wrestling.
Also a podcast host himself.
Professional podcaster, producer, engineer. He does everything. It is our boy, Joseph JoJo Feeney. You may know him from the Keepin It 100 podcast with Konnan and Disco Inferno from WCW fame. He is also the co-host of the Raven Effect podcast with Raven. You remember Raven? I heard.
Love Raven. Quote the Raven nevermore, baby. Let's go.
It might have been Jordan who tweeted me and said I loved him in WCW, and it made me think. Yeah, he was great in WCW. He had a lot of TV time, but he was extraordinarily good in ECW because that's where you really got to see the Raven. Like when you watch Raven in WCW, never really, U.S. title, and you had the flock, and some people say he's the worst stable leader ever.
I really enjoyed Raven as a wrestler throughout his career.
I loved him as a promo. He was great.
For those wondering, he was WCW or ECW for a short period, then went to WCW and then back to ECW. So he flip-flopped back and forth. Him and Sandman, or he was Havoc in WCW.
Hardcore Hack.
Yeah, Hack. There you go. He was Hack. They battled Bam Bam Bigelow. There was a lot of crossover and feuds from the WCW to ECW time frame because they did a lot of back and forth as far as where they were at. And I always liked Raven, although, if we're talking feuds and if, his legacy, the Tommy Dreamer feud is the one in ECW.
Tommy never got the W.
I know. Yeah, he was always getting screwed. And it's
rivalry he never went over. Is this the Feeney cry from Boy Meets World? Or am I getting that wrong?
I don't know what you're doing from Boy Meets World.
Because the principal's name was Mr. Feeney.
His teacher's name was Mr. Feeney. It was not the principal. He was just his teacher. And
I got it right. So fuck you. Apparently you didn't watch TGIF. Yeah, I knew it was.
I did. Name 3 other shows on TGIF, please. Go. I'll
Sabrina
wait.
the Teenage Witch, Step by Step, Family Matters,
Step by Step, And Family Matters is what I was going to go for. I was also in there for the America's Funniest Home Videos days. There was also Perfect Strangers was one of the early TGIF shows. I don't know if you remember that, sir, but shout out
My
to all
Brother's Keeper, a show no one remembers. You probably can't even Wikipedia, but it was a decent show. Ran for like a season and a half on TGIF. They would do that. They would debut a new like family comedy, and it would never last. I mean, they were decent, but like I don't know, sweeps rating.
For those TGIF and Step by Step fans, Cody, who was the cool cousin that got to join the Step by Step family, like season 2 or 3, actually got arrested later for beating the fuck out of his wife. Yeah, he was an abuser. So, little fun fact for you
that
there.
Really
not
just
so wholesome,
threw me
is
for that. That fucked
not
up my
so
whole
wholesome
perception of the show because he was the funny like comedic.
It was public news. It sucked because it was
like
on
kind
ABC.
of the idiot on the show. Yeah, it was ABC. The show was still on ABC Family.
It was crazy because and he was cool. He knew karate. He was like the edgy one that would come and save the day if it was like a traumatic episode, and like they loved him. And it was the weird abandonment episode that he had. Come to find out, he's fucking beating up on people. Now, does anybody remember the Fabio step-by-step crossover?
I don't. He was in it.
Yeah, so he goes to Suzanne Summers' character because she was a hairstylist and trusts her.
Yo, Suzanne Summers in the 90s. Let's take a moment, okay? There's a reason that she had workout videos, all right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Shouts to Suzanne Summers.
She could get it. I'm sure she could get it now in 2021.
Can we say that women can get it?
I can get it. He can get it, right?
Can you? Okay.
She can get it?
I don't know.
Do we have to
I'm a
look the
little
same way?
I'm concerned about this comment. Feeney is also a friend and my therapist. Now, a friend, totally. He's a cool dude. But therapist? You
know, I feel like I could be a therapist, and most of my emotional connection would come from wrestling. It would come from wrestling.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Common Chaos Podcast.
Yeah, I could do it. Let's go. What do you want to talk about? You want to get deep? Were you touched? Were you touched as a kid? Matt.
Not by anyone I didn't want to be. You know what? I want to get into Tucker Carlson. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, here we go.
No, fuck that guy royally. And I'm not even going to tell you why, but just fuck him royally. Jenna Biello. I love what I just started here. Yeah, if you get us down a nostalgia path with something we both relate on step by step, wrestling. Later, I know I'm going to bring up some wrestling related shit that's going to throw you down memory lane and give you a boner.
Oh man, I know I've got some good stuff. I hope I take you there as well. I'm excited.
And we're only stalling and talking this nonsense.
I know it's just because we're waiting for him.
Mr. Feeney is busy. He had to step He had to step into one of the shows on his Creative Control Network. And, you know, I'd applaud him for that because he didn't just bail and he's holding up responsibilities and he communicated that shit to us, which is awesome. Communication is great. When you tell someone, you know, you're not going to be there on time, they usually like to know that shit. You know, we've had some guests that didn't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know, since we're breaking out top 5 lists, we have more time in retrospect since the 1-year anniversary episode and our year-end episode. We should probably do another top 5 worst guests ever. Forever on that list will be Ruthless Vault. Dude.
Oh man. I mean, I here's where I stand on that. I don't know if we should necessarily have a best of, right? Raw, you know, talking about wrestling. We didn't get a best of Raw VHS to like 99, you know, 2000. And what did it have? It had like a bunch of the hot attitude era moments, but you never saw early Raw highlights or early Raw moments. And
that's a valid point. Skaggs did fall asleep and didn't appear on our 1-year show as advertised.
That is true.
It's okay. I'm not bitter.
Yeah.
I only streamed Imposter Syndrome 2 twice because of that. I'm just kidding. I didn't stream it at all. I'm just kidding. It's great. They did a tremendous job. I just want full lengths from them. I'm greedy.
Can we talk about how good the Undertaking's album is? Holy shit.
Yeah, we haven't done album reviews in weeks, but
the new
Undertaking
really good too.
That was, I believe, a week or so ago. I haven't got around to listening to either of these albums, but I'll tell you what Twitter has been a buzz about. Convictions released an EP that everyone's been talking about. Apparently, it sounds like Reflections with better choruses, they said. What is up, Jason Gross? Where is Joe? Well, you must have just joined because we literally just said he is joining us any minute now. He had to step into one of his Creative Control Network shows. And so that's cool. he's got responsibilities. He's going to join us here shortly, any minute now. So stay tuned. Don't just and he already left. Okay, bye. What was I talking about before that?
Did he bounce? He bounced already?
No, I just made that up.
Oh, I was like, how can you tell? What are we with statistics? What are we going off of here? You were rambling about top fives. We are gonna have
top 5 worst guests. So Ruthless Vault for sure.
Yeah.
No, there's been some really good albums that have come out recently.
Oh yeah, you were talking about Convictions.
Convictions. I haven't got around to listening to it. People are also talking about Ghost Iris, which is a band that I've heard of and never listened to. For my personal 6ix9ine news this week,
we're getting to it.
I don't. Unless you have some, I don't.
You don't?
I didn't. He didn't really do it.
Oh, get out of here! I got you, son. I got you. Get out of here. Go. Keep talking. Keep talking.
The shit that I've been listening to lately has been like, he said 2 minutes exactly. Oh shit! Boom, Mr. JoJo Feeney. What is going on, my man?
What's up, guys? Sorry about that. I had to step in for somebody on Creative Control Network, and it was a watch-along podcast situation. So I literally had to wait for the last match to end, and I'm like,
you had to step into a watch-along?
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
You know how difficult it is watching along to videos.
Yeah, well, I got to do what I got to do, right?
That's what we were just talking about. Like, I applaud you because you communicated to us you were going to be late, and then you're helping your own podcast. Better than having a guest fall asleep and ignore us.
Yeah,
that's happened before.
I've been on either end of that, so.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
That's a call out.
Yeah.
All right, now that we have our guests, I'm going to break into the news. The most interesting entertainment music news I've found this week involves a rapper by the name of Quando Rondo. Have you guys ever heard of this guy?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I've never listened to this guy in my life, even though he dropped a new album today. So it's been pretty hard times for Mr. Quando. He was involved in a rap beef that ended with his friend shooting and killing rival rapper King Von. Rondo hasn't been getting booked because of that shit. The few dates that he does land get canceled. They're surrounded by controversy. He recently performed to a crowd of less than 50 people. That's the wrong picture. We're going to go with Quando Rondo. Yep, that's a picture of an empty venue and Quando looking sad on stage as he raps. If you look at those gentlemen in all those white tees, there's actually more people on stage than in the crowd. My question for you guys is: killing your rival a good business move?
I don't think so. I don't think so, and it certainly didn't work in this case. So, I mean, is there any example in history of that working? Unless I don't know, it's the Old West. It's not working out in the music business.
That's a valid point. The Old West, you could definitely get ahead that way.
Yeah.
It seems to work like at the maximum. I think the best people to get away with this shit are politicians for about a year or two.
Right.
They get away with maybe not killing a rival, but definitely a mistress. They get away with that shit for a little while. But I don't know. This is all stupid.
The Clintons got bodies. The Clintons have bodies for sure.
Yo, that's a whole different episode.
They've got bodies.
I will not. No comment on that one. I like to live. So
yeah. We're already targeted. Jeff,
yeah. No doubt about that.
Yo, shouts to this comment. WWE can't do a retro show. I'm pissed. A shitty CGI fist. They have it in their fucking warehouse. Why didn't they use it?
What happened?
Okay, so
the SmackDown throwbacks. Yep.
SmackDown tonight was a retro episode. They did a piss poor job explaining why there was a retro episode. But since I am, such a huge NASCAR fan, I actually had the inside track on this. NASCAR does their Darlington race is a throwback event where people will race throwback paint schemes. NASCAR is on Fox. SmackDown is on Fox. They tied it in and used the word WCW hated synergy.
Hey.
It made no sense. No, they had one NASCAR ad for the entire show and then never made any more connection. So, of course, people like Black Saw Johnny Hex is pissed about the CGI fist because, like you said, it's in the warehouse. They didn't bother to move it or install it to the Thunderdome. So this retro show seems like a Fox idea, but it was kind of whack.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained it, though, because actually I had no idea. I thought it was one of the anniversaries or something like that. I didn't even think about it. Now I know.
Would you?
I was not.
Why would any wrestling fan make the connection? There's not, as Southern as it is, there's not a big crossover nowadays because NASCAR's been in a decline.
Yeah.
None of the wrestling fans understood that, and they did a piss poor job explaining it. Like, I had read this and kind of understood it, and then I saw the ad and was like, oh, this makes sense. And then you never saw another mention of it again. Pat McAfee's suit looked good, though. Brian, have you got to Pat McAfee on SmackDown?
I have not, no.
Did you see his wrestling match from what last year? Or a couple months ago? Last year.
Yeah.
It was crazy, dude. His debut match, and he did a giant like plancha off the top rope. It was pretty good for a debut. I mean, maybe not as good as our boy Bad Bunny. It was pretty good.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That was, man, Johnny.
That was the match they wanted to compete with that Shaq match. You know, when Cody and Shaq were like, it's going to be the best celebrity match ever, and Pat McAfee tweeted like, well, I don't know, we'll see about that one. So.
Johnny Hex is pissed about this shit. They have the fucking money. Use it. Hell, I saw someone build the first stage in their basement.
Hey, I was going to mention that. I was going to mention if anybody saw that because that was on Reddit. They had, dude, it's a legit broken glass fist through the thing. They've got TVs where the fucking Titantron would be. It's legit. It is so dope. And it's like over 4 or 5 feet tall or something like that. It's pretty dope.
Oh, man. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm heated. Reason to be heated at that, and especially WWE. I mean, you feel like they could do... You know, but isn't that their MO nowadays? Just falling flat, I think.
I thought it was to piss people off.
Mailing it in.
Yeah.
Phoning it in. Yeah.
Phoning it in.
Second news I got on the docket is everyone's favorite abusive R&B singer Chris Brown recently celebrated his 32nd birthday, and his birthday party on Cinco de Mayo got shut down by the Popo.
Uh-oh.
You had helicopters circling overhead. His party was at his home in the San Fernando Valley, California. Party ended, crowd was dispersed, and 400 people were leaving the party in expensive vehicles like Range Rovers, Maseratis, and Aston Martins. My question for you guys, what's the biggest party you've had or been to, and have you ever had one get epically shut down?
I actually used to get away with having parties at my parents' house a lot when I was in my teens, and like my mom kind of I don't want to say she turned a blind eye to it. Sometimes she did if we were getting along good, and sometimes she didn't if we weren't. But you know, there would be drinking in my bedroom and stuff, and you know, people smoking out the window and all that, and you know, we'd fit who we could in there. So, and then when my parents are gone, and we would just take over the house. But the biggest one I was probably ever at was when it turned into the year 2000, New Year's Eve. You know,
oh shit, the Y2K party.
December 31st, 1999, and I was just freshly like 18 too. So I'm getting in my partying prime and all this. It was. I think there was a block of like 6 rooms. 6 rooms. This Econo Lodge taken. Boom, 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 all next to each other.
Econo Lodge. My cousin used to buy crack there. Good place.
I was gonna say, yeah, we really classed it up, but you know, a bunch of teenagers. You know, we don't care.
Yeah. It's a hotel.
Bathroom. Yeah. So one room was drinking, one room was smoking, one room was hooking up. I don't remember where. I'm sure it just kept getting worse. You know,
this room is only for blowjobs. I better not see anyone getting fucked in here.
This room is only for blowjobs. I'd be the one. Hey, can I come in? There's a blowjob room.
She's got room for one more, bro.
Yeah. So and I would say I don't want to say hundreds and sound, you know, crazy, but it was probably like 100 people, you know, maybe more. And
that's a lot of people to have at your party.
Yeah.
As a teenager.
Yeah. And it was just like, I was just a visitor. I was just a guest. Like, wasn't something that I threw. So everyone I saw there that I realized I knew somehow, I didn't know they knew this person. There's a lot of that shit going on. Like, oh, it's this guy. What's your name again? You know? Hey, Civics Mike. You're Mike from the Civics.
Oh my God.
They didn't, they let us get away with it. I guess they figured New Year's Eve 2000, like there wasn't a cop call, there wasn't nothing. And this was a loud party. People were, of course, hanging outside the room the whole time, all that shit. So, what was the second question about a party getting busted?
Oh, yeah, if it's ever been shut down.
Yeah, I mean, I've had hotel parties get popped, and
those are probably the easiest to get shut down.
Yeah, because once you get away with it, if you think it's like easy, it's cake. Oh, no one's gonna bother us here. The volume goes up, and next thing you know, they're at the door or whatever. And I don't know, a handful of times it happened to me. It's always such a bummer though. Like, dude, we're not bothering anybody. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt and myself, I believe, Matt, you were with me. We were involved in that epic apartment party that got shut down where there was like 50 people. Me and him were, our buddy had an apartment. We were also in like 18, 19 years old maybe. And
Fresh
so
out of high school.
my
had an
buddy's
adult
23.
friend
24. We work with him in a grocery store. He's letting us party over at his house.
inviting over all the 17-year-olds.
Everybody, not giving any fucks. And so we're all hanging out. 1-bedroom apartment on a top floor, mind you. However, we had the luxury of being really good friends with the neighbors. And I say we, like we lived at the apartment. We did not, but we were there so often that we happened to become good friends with the neighbors next door and downstairs. So when we raged, they just raged with us. So we're all hanging out. We've got easily 40, 50 people in this 1-bedroom apartment. Way too many people.
Mostly underage.
People out on the balcony. We look over the balcony. Cops are coming up the steps. We're like, oh shit. Okay, this is about to get real.
Now to totally, for full disclosure, the cops were probably tipped off something was going on because me and Clay had gone around to this apartment complex, and every single fountain we poured so much laundry detergent in them that all the fountains were damaged.
Yeah.
And so it's just overflowing the suds.
Yeah. Separate incident. We also went to Walmart and bought 300 little goldfish that you could get for like 10 cents a piece. So we bought $30 worth of goldfish.
Living?
Yes, you were with us, I believe, at this time, and we put them in the jacuzzis as well, and they all survived for about a week.
Oh,
yeah. And so that's because
we're gonna have PETA on our ass for that.
At the time, the jacuzzis they didn't, or not the jacuzzis. I'm sorry, the fountains. And so at the time, the fountains, it was like summertime, so they were doing the re-irrigating. We were in the desert, so it's
they didn't have salt water.
So they were just sitting water. So we were like, cool, we're gonna throw fish in there and see what happens. Anyways, cops come and bust this party up. We have a friend of ours who, for whatever reason, at 18 thinks he has warrants. He didn't have any warrants ever. But as the cops are knocking on the door, he comes out on the balcony with us and goes, yo, dude, I got to get on the roof, and starts climbing onto the roof of the apartment complex. My friend Josh, shout out Low, shout out J Lo.
Got warrants, cuz I got warrants.
That's pretty much what happened.
What he said. Yeah, he came out, and then so they get everybody out of the party. As we're walking down the steps, they ask us if we're on like the football team of the college. We're like, yeah, duh. And they're like, all right, coach is going to be pissed. Go sit down. We don't go sit down. We like walk around from the apartment complex because they're now having to make sure everybody's cleared out. So we go to our friend who is driving. He just so happens at 19. Thank God he wasn't drinking. He was always very responsible and was like, yo, we got to be good. He was wearing one of those like comical shirts that say 10 things not to say to a cop. And the cop is just grilling him. You think that shirt's funny? You think you guys partying here are funny?
Was that Aaron? He had a Florida license plate, and they gave him so much shit over it.
Yes, yep. And so that was one time where it did get broken up abruptly. We partied there every weekend, and there was never a hassle. Never a hassle.
They told our adult friend, okay, step outside. He steps outside, and they're like, okay, you're under arrest. He's like, for what? And they're like, drunk in public. And they held him for a night. It was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I recall a party at Matt Claiborne's house when he was still doing the Monopoly and had Metroid play. They had cars parked around their entire neighborhood blocking driveways. So, of course, the cops shut that down. They shut down the party by just cutting the power to the house.
Oh.
That's epic.
Yeah.
The other epic party was Brian's 21st birthday party. We started off in a penthouse suite in a timeshare. We kept getting kicked out, and we were like third floor the first night, second floor on Saturday, and by Sunday we're on the bottom floor, and it was just awful. Like
all weekend, that was great.
When you have such a good party on Friday that you're like, oh, let's continue, let's just bring it back. You might be able to have fun on Saturday, but I guarantee you're gonna have a shitty time on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, there was like 7 people at the place on Sunday, and we watched like a movie. It was the most lame. Like
all you motherfuckers had to go to work the next day, and so I woke up and the wolf like me dudes were cleaning up everyone else's puke to earn their stay at the party because you specifically said you didn't want them there, and I invited them.
Yeah, that's
good times.
I think that's the reason why, because I'm an old fart. I'm going to be 40 later this year, for God's sakes. But I think that's the reason why guys in their 30s are approaching my age. A lot of people that I know go up to Penn State for Blue and White weekend. It's if you don't know what it is, it's when the senior football team plays the freshmen. It's just a big party weekend. Most of the people go there just to tailgate and hang out and make an ass of themselves. So you go up there, you book your room in a Super 8, you get hammered all weekend. Or it's like why people, around here, I'm in the Philly area, they go down the shore. You go down Wildwood, you get whatever, maybe you get a few rooms between friends, and it's just like having your hotel parties when you're a teenager again. I think that's why.
I vaguely remember drinking on the roof of the hotel after my wedding.
Yeah, that's a true story. That is a true story.
Okay, what's in the cup, guys? I am drinking Yangling, so you are probably from Pennsylvania as well.
Yeah.
I'm drinking ginger and Crown Royal vanilla.
I have a Topo Chico.
Yeah, Brian's drinking cum.
That was odd.
I'm actually just drinking tea. It's very strange, but I'm getting old.
That's good. Yeah, it's better than cum.
You did not follow my memo at all.
That was a true story, though. The girl that commented there. We did. I had a room. Oh, Irish weekend. I had a room for after her wedding, and for some reason they gave me the room that opened out to like the roof right below.
Oh, fun.
And we all wound up out there after the wedding, and it was that was a pretty. I'm actually surprised we didn't get cops or security called on us then because it was long. It was long and it was late.
I definitely went through a period like 2010. Band broke up. Chick cheated on me. Everything fell apart. Dead end job. I moved away, and I just kind of for 3 years became a scumbag. Went to those parties where it's like hundreds of people that you have no idea who they are, and you realize like people are shady as shit, and so you combat shady with shady. So we would go to parties and like not maybe network, maybe make a friend, try to find a girl, whatever. And at the end of the night, it's like, okay, time to leave. We would steal all the liquor we could and then go back to someone else's house and have the party there.
Yeah.
It's just crazy shit. A lot of good comments right now. I would laugh if WWE had a Steph versus Shane versus Triple H in a ladder match for control of WWE. Thoughts?
I wouldn't doubt if they went there.
The video game won't even let you book that match.
Yeah, not for me.
I had no idea we were a hockey show, but Penguins versus Red Wings Game 6 in 2009 Stanley Cup Finals. Steelers versus Ravens 2008, both at Carson City Saloon in Pittsburgh. I'm guessing this is parties.
Yeah.
Johnny Hex wants to go to a lit-ass Halloween party. I haven't been to one in years, so yeah. I'm with you there. Highlights of my whole marriage, red flags.
No.
Yeah, I did a Halloween party this year, but it was like in the midst of COVID and everything, and it didn't last that long. But I just remember being total assholes towards the end of the night. I dressed up as Jim Morrison from The Doors.
Oh, I've heard of him.
I brought a bottle of Bushmills Irish whiskey, which is like it was really inside joke costume. So my friends knew, oh, that's what Jim Morrison drank, whatever. And within 2 hours, we were all just drinking from the bottle and passing it to each other in the COVID era. No one's been vaccinated. I think.
Oh God!
Oh no! Hey, you're just living, dude. You're just taking. You're taking that road. I was gonna say, you mentioned being old and drinking. I went out last night and I'm wearing it today. I feel we're 33, so we're getting up into that 40 range and. Holy shit, man.
I tell chicks I'm 25 though, and a chick told me I look 26 the other day, so I'm gonna stick with it.
That's why I keep shaving. The minute I get the scruff in,
I actually had this dyed for my costume. It's the only, but now as you can see, it's going all gray and white. So my wife's kind of like, yeah, that dye wasn't too bad. You're gonna keep doing that?
Hey, calling you out on the grays. Hey, it's sophistication,
Absolutely makes me look more intelligent.
Let's make fun of a couple more rappers here. Brian brought this news to me earlier this week. Sean Diddy Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. Puffy, a.k.a. Papa Diddy Pop Pop, has changed his middle name to Love. He is now known as Sean Love Combs. Do we care in the least?
So he originally broke this news in 2017. No. And he did so via like an Instagram story, and he was on a beach drunk off his ass for his birthday, and he goes, you guys, or like he goes, y'all, I changed my name again, y'all. Like he knew that they were like, really, Diddy, you fucking changed your name again? And he's like, I did it, y'all. I changed my name again. I will only answer to Love. I will not answer or Brother Love or whatever.
Love. Yeah,
and he went through them, but it was never like. It was at the end of the video. He goes, "It's my birthday. I'm having a great time. I love you," and like signs off. So you're like, "Fuck, Diddy was drunk. He's joking about changing his name. Yeah. Come to find out, it's on his license. It's official." I think it's weird that he didn't edit any of his address out. I'm pretty sure he just lives on an island. I'm pretty sure that's what the fucking address was. It's just an island. He didn't edit any of it out of the
should not
picture.
be posting their addresses online after what
No,
happened to
don't do
Pop
that.
Smoke.
Don't do that. Yeah. No, I remember that sort of. But I would say the only thing I'm really a fan of from P. Diddy or Puff Daddy, I guess that's my age group should call him that, is some of his acting has been tremendous. Get him to the Greek.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I totally forgot about that. That was great.
In that. Yep.
And then back in the day, he was like a gangster type, I guess, in a movie called Made with John Favreau and Vince Vaughn, and he was tremendous in that too. So like he was so good in those roles that that's how I became like I'm a fan of his acting. You know.
Someone recently asked what our favorite music videos were. I still don't have a full-on answer for it, but what I did realize is like I would never put Diddy or Puffy on a list of my favorite rappers, but damn, his music videos sure end up on my top 10 a lot, man. He was killing it. Anytime he teamed up with Hype Williams, those videos were fire. They were on TRL, BET, hardcore.
I do have a 6ix9ine news too when we're ready.
Oh God. Hold on. Let me hit the banner.
And were you saying something, JoJo, real quick? Were you?
Oh, just I when you mentioned music videos, I was like, I just had my YouTube app on earlier. I was just looking for something to put on for a few minutes while I was just dicking around or whatever. And there was like a music videos category. I'm like, wow, they still make, because there's nowhere to air them, I guess, except YouTube.
Internet.
Right? Yeah.
They're still used as promotional tools. Totally.
Wow.
I work with like a lot of unsigned local bands in different capacities, and they always say, "Oh yeah, we're filming a video," and I'm like, "The fuck is the point of filming a video, man? Like maybe one, but like you guys don't have any money. You're not on tour. You don't even have a fucking album or an EP. Like it's kind of a waste of money at that point." But I get what you mean. Like music videos in the U.S., it's only YouTube or I think Diddy's Revolt channel will still show them. Yeah, but in the UK, they have Kerrang, and they show like metal videos on there all the time.
So I get it if you're like an unsigned up and coming band, because if you put your video on YouTube, people are way more likely to watch it if it's a video than if it's like it's just a still picture of the band, you know. But I just mean like big money artists. What's the like Beyonce's new video? Why? What's the point? How much money do you spend on that? You know,
because they got the money.
Not necessary. Yeah, I just want to break into Prince's vault and find all his music videos that never aired. When I don't know when they're gonna do that. They're already mining the vault and everything and selling everything, you know, selling him out for all the stuff that he did and want to put away. So
they should do what XXXTentacion just did, where they're releasing all his unreleased songs as an NFT for free.
Oh man, NFT.
Free NFT is like worthless, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like, totally. The definition of worthless. Yeah.
Yo, shouts to Jason for the Mobb Deep reference. Fuck yes, Mobb Deep. Honestly, how is 6ix9ine not shot yet for being a snitch? That's the whole point of the update.
It's about to get real. So here we go. Tampa Bay Buccaneers Antonio Brown was caught, and I say caught because he is getting fucking grilled and roasted on an open fire right now. He was caught running some 1v1 plays with our boy 6ix9ine at his private gym, and Twitter lit him up. Oh my God. And so like you think maybe it's no big deal, right? Antonio Brown invites 6ix9ine to his gym. Hey, let's hang out. Let's maybe run some plays together, see what you got. People on the internet did not like it. A Canadian Football League player by the name of Ahmed Thomas goes,
Ahmed Thomas.
Antonio Brown taking L's all across the board. Somebody goes from being the best receiver in the league to third string at Tampa and now doing workouts with a snitch. #rock bottom. They basically rake him over the coals for just doing a workout with 6ix9ine. Is this harsh treatment of Antonio Brown worth it just because he's working out with one of the most controversial rappers around right now? And it's not even like he's...
Didn't Antonio Brown hit a woman like a couple years ago? So like,
who knows, dude? But I mean, it's not even like he's controversial to where it's like,
probably,
oh man, he's dangerous, or he's like, it's whatever. It's just that he's a fucking snitch and kind of goofy, and got absolutely schooled in the play that they... I don't know why he chose to put the video up of the play that they ran, but he just got schooled. I don't understand the purpose of the workout. Clearly, Antonio Brown's an athlete and 6ix9ine is not. But Does he deserve the roasting?
6ix9ine's trying to lose weight, ain't he? Because he literally vanished off the internet.
He's lost a decent amount of weight, like 60 pounds. And hey, when you're famous or an artist or rich right now, it's normal to be training with athletes. Athletes have gyms all over the world that, you get to go train with athletes. So he wanted to go and work out, but for whatever reason, it is not allowed. And they're like going in on Antonio Brown's career because of it, which is kind of crazy.
Antonio Brown could be spotted at Popeyes and they would still give him shit. I mean, he was signed to my Raiders. He gave me hope for like 5 minutes. Like, fuck him, dude.
Yeah.
No remorse. Damn, I was in the bathroom and I missed the 6ix9ine update. It's cool. You'll catch it on the late show that we do nude on OnlyFans.
How's that working out for you?
It's
three subscribers.
And we just put up a bundle, so if you sign up for 3 months, you get a discount.
There it is.
Yeah, the discount is you get to see half of Brian's dick. More rappers to make fun of. This is an interesting one. I have no idea how he did this. Rapper Foogiano, I've never heard of him either, melted off his ankle monitor and has been sentenced to 5 years in prison. He was on the run for 3 months, somehow melted off the ankle monitor, then left it on the side of the road. So my question for you guys, is this a wise move? And how did you cut off your ankle monitors?
The burning it off that's definitely unique. Maybe he just had a big magnifying glass and let the sun take care of it. I don't know, but certainly once you remove it, they're going to be aware of that. So try your best to keep it to yourself. Don't be leaving it on the side of the road for discovery.
If you're gonna remove it, leave it in your home. It makes more sense.
You've already burned it off. Now throw it in the fireplace or whatever. Throw it in a barrel. Burn it.
As soon as you tamper that thing, it's a felony. Like, you're screwed. You're popped.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is really, really stupid.
Is that guy? Is he worth a lot of money?
Foogiano? No, he's like an up and coming rapper. The thing is that everyone on Twitter and Instagram that's on his side is saying like, oh, he took a gun charge for years ago and someone already claimed that it was theirs and he took the rap and blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, that's cool, but you didn't fight that properly if you're innocent, and you can't fuck with the ankle monitor. Like, now you got 5 years, you can't argue.
Now you did something you weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
I just cut my ankle off. That's how I got rid of mine.
Hey, Saw. I seen that movie.
There's a new Saw.
What's it?
There's a new Saw coming out, and I'm gonna tell you.
Is Chris Rock in it?
Chris Rock. There you go. It's Chris Rock. Yep.
I think he might have. I'll look it up real quick. I think he might
have. Yeah, he did. He wrote
or
directed it. Yeah, he did something.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Big departure from what he would usually do, but I'm with it. I trust Chris Rock.
Yeah, I'm with it. I like that franchise enough. Like, I wouldn't say the last couple Saw movies were as good as the first two. I think the first two were great. But every movie like that gets stale. Like, the only movie that's got like 8 fucking sequels that I enjoy is Fast and Furious.
That's where it gets dicey, is because there was the first Saw, I believe, was the trilogy, right? It was the first 3, and that was like off of the book. Whenever you give like creative rights away, book? Well, yeah, the original writer did like a 3-part book, and that's why there was the 3 movies, or did 1 book and it was broken up into the 3 movies or something to that effect. But you sell the rights to it, or you're like, oh yeah, hey, like whoever can get like the rights to this, and they can start making their own creative endeavors. We saw that with Marvel and Fox having 2 separate studios, and it's just like, okay, it becomes overkill at some point because,
Were you guys Game of Thrones fans?
Of course, yeah.
I've never seen it.
Well, you would know then that once they ran out of material from the books, the 2 guys, the showrunners, and had to start putting it together on their own, the show took a complete shit.
Oh yeah.
I saw an anime that way, and anytime that works out, where like they didn't, basically the same thing, they didn't finish the manga before the anime was running and it caught up with it. It went to shit, dude. It was like 10 episodes of just stalling, and it was one of those shows where they're killing off characters every episode, and it's like, it's been like 5 episodes since y'all killed anybody.
Yeah. The Walking Dead too. I mean, the novel was great, right? Acclaimed. And then after like season 6, it's just like, okay, we're back at this again. And they even kept some pretty decent arcs all throughout. Like they kept Egan or whatever his name was, right? And so they kept it true to the graphic novel, but at some point the show just got stale.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Halloween?
It's not Halloween.
I think it's the new Halloween movie that's coming out.
Another?
I think
Good
so.
point.
I'll look at it.
No, but I mean, I saw the one that was supposed to be just the sequel to Halloween 1, like nothing else ever happened. The one where Jamie Lee Curtis and her daughter were, I don't know. So I got talking in the theater somehow.
It's supposed to be this year.
Equal to that?
Well, so all I'm getting right now,
Curtis.
Halloween Kills is an upcoming American slasher film directed by Dave Gordon Green, the guy that did the original ones. It is, or not the guy that did the original ones, but anyways, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. It seems to be the.
That was my worst joke all week, man. I'm sorry, Jamie Lee Squirtus.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. That's funny though. Yeah, I guess it's a sequel to.
It's actually a sequel to 101 Dalmatians, so I don't see how any of this lines up.
No. So this is two new films. So they signed on the two films in 2019. So there's this film, Halloween Kills, and then its sequel, Halloween Ends, which will be released October 14th, 2022. This year, the film will be released in October 15th, 2021. So yeah, a year apart, they're doing it.
Well, that's like we were saying about, showrunners or whoever taking over a franchise or changing the creative. At least with this, they went back to the original vision of Halloween. Yeah. It's like when I back in my day, when I was a kid, if you optioned a book and you made a movie out of it, you just respected the material. And well, what now I know what's gonna happen. I read the book. Too bad.
And it was like a guaranteed hit.
Yeah, like anything Stephen King optioned back in the day, it was almost to the letter what happened in the book or just whatever. And nowadays, it's like they go out of their way to change everything. And when they made It and It Too, like I love that book ever since I was a kid. And the movie had so many differences. It's like, come on, man, you had this awesome book. Can't you just it's like tracing. Can't you just write down what the other guy wrote and just do that? Did you guys did you ever see Preacher on AMC?
Oh, I saw an episode on accident, but I didn't like actively watch it.
The same way. That was like a 6 issue, not a 6 issue, but 6 of those graphic novels. The series was like, I didn't even read comics, and I was starting to get into The Walking Dead, and I just saw Preacher in the comic book store. It looked interesting. Dude, it's one of the best things I've ever read. Comics, literature, fiction, nonfiction, anything. It's so well written and entertaining. So I hear that Seth Rogen and his partner, Evan Goldberg, have options for Preacher, and they're going to make it for AMC. And I'm like, and I read an interview, and they're like, we love the material, and we're going to do the best we can. I'm like, no, it's terrible. It's horrible. It's complete. They took a final storyline and put it in the first season, and they did, oh, God, and there's characters that weren't in the thing. It's like, dude, this was the perfect story. All you had to do was copy what you optioned, and instead you just fucked it up. And people hate that shit. When you take something that they really like or they love and they've read forever or whatever, and you change it on screen, people fucking hate it every time. It never works.
There's a Tom Clancy movie on Amazon or Netflix right now. I forget what it's called, but it's based on a book, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the book.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I cannot remember the name, but I heard it sucked. So it has Michael B. Jordan in it, and it's not good. So I don't know what's up with that.
Is it?
No, it's like two words.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's something stupid. The last bit of news I have on the docket is Jake Paul and illiterate boxing champion Floyd Mayweather got into an altercation ahead of Floyd's fight with Jake's brother Logan Paul. Jake got in Floyd's face, took his hat, got your hat, and got popped in the face a couple times for it. The funny part about this is Floyd's hair looks awful, and 50 Cent said it looks like pubic hair. You be the judge.
He's 53. He's 53. He's,
There's also a huge bald spot on the top of his head. Yeah. And I just recall back to the time when 50 Cent did the ice bucket challenge, didn't dump the ice on himself, threw it down and said, I challenge you if you could read 3 pages of a Dr. Seuss book that I'll donate so much money to your favorite charity. And Floyd never did it because he literally can't.
Yeah. He's the richest illiterate walking the earth, probably.
And he's 44. Oh, yeah. 44, looking every bit of 53.
That's what happens when you get popped in the face.
These, I don't know the Paul brothers. I literally just know them because of what they've done recently.
Same.
And I think I did hear the story about Jake going into the Japanese suicide
forest, and he filmed a dead body. It was very disrespectful.
Yeah. So I don't know anything about them other than they're doing a great job playing bad guy and garnering interest. But I do know this: that fight with Ben Askren was fake. It was totally fake, and like I get such heat for saying that. There's only a few people that agree with me, but it
I've
worked.
never heard you so adamant about something before, but you want to die on that hill.
It's
Yeah.
so
Can I?
so fake.
I train MMA, and I have had this
That's a
argument
lie.
with people.
That's a
It's
lie.
not. I've had this argument with people that the knockout was not fake. What was fucked up about it is he could have continued. He could have kept going. And he more than likely would have continued to have gotten knocked out again. Like he would have gotten hit again. That was a legitimate hit, and there's several different angles where you can see his head comes rocking off of that canvas. He legitimately got knocked out for sure. But
I believe it was a real hit. My thing was it was all right. You're gonna take the dive for $2 million, whatever.
500.
We're gonna 500,000 plus pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, he's estimated to have probably made a little over like $6 million. So.
Oh jeez, yeah.
What
But listen, that's with Triller saying that because they said that they were going to give him 500 straight up, right? There's a bunch of controversy saying that Triller's trying to pad their numbers. They claimed that there was some crazy amount of buys, yet there was a lot of buys, but there was a lot of pirating. There's a shit ton of pirating, and they're going about it a certain way. They're telling pirators that, hey, instead of us coming after you for a lot of money, which we can do, and we don't know if they really can,
they said pay up.
Pay us what you would have bought, and then potentially become a returning customer, I guess. But the numbers aren't accurate because again, Triller, we don't really know what they made as far as like numbers go until it like officially comes out. But I don't think it's as high as what they say. Didn't mean to cut you off. Continue with the.
No, that's fine. I believe that it was. We're going to give you whatever money. You're obviously going to lose. We're pushing this guy for a big fight down the line. But you're going to have to take a punch. You're like this, not where you have to make the knockout. Look, he's going to connect, whatever, but that's part of the deal. And that's just what I believe from watching it. And I think so. I've collected my allies on this so far. It's Dana White, Chris Jericho, and Vinny Paz from
Jedi Mind, baby.
Yeah, Jedi Mind Tricks. And there was one other, but I can't remember. But I'll take that. If me, Dana White, and Jericho and Vinny are on the same side on this, it just strengthens my resolve.
I like the company that you keep, but I just don't know, man. I think Ben Askren just wanted that payday. Like, who gives a shit? It ain't even for a belt. He didn't train.
He didn't train at all.
As much as I did for my.
And anybody who is like, and I don't know your extensiveness on MMA. I do know that you guys do discuss it from time to time, right?
Yeah.
And so
Disco discusses it, and Joe tries to.
I am an avid MMA fan, and that guy was 500 plus worst striker of all fucking time. Right. Like Ben Askren had no hands. Ben Askren
be in a boxing match.
Ben Askren could have done 100 times better, and he was 32-2. He only lost his last like 2 or 3 fights. He was undefeated until he got to the UFC, and then lost 3 of his 4 fights or 2 of his 3 fights.
Yeah.
You literally could have sawed someone else's feet off, attached them to his wrists, and he probably would have done better with 4 feet instead of a pair of feet and a pair of hands. Like, he had no hands, absolutely no hands whatsoever. What's even more aggravating about this is Jake Paul's gone on record and stated, I'm a troll. You're all getting upset because you're fighters. You're fighters, and this is what you do. You respond to people, and I'm a fucking troll. And you're responding to me because you want to fight me, but what sucks is I actually do train. And his brother is a very good wrestler. I won't say great. A very good wrestler collegiately, right? He I believe they're from Iowa.
Who's that, Logan?
Yeah, Logan Paul, the gentleman that is actually facing Floyd Mayweather, his older brother. However, people within the actual like scene that know the Paul brothers and know their training routine says that they're both legitimate, and Jake Paul's actually the better fighter, which is kind of crazy because he's the one doing all the trash talking. Logan's just doing it because he wanted to do the crossover, and he's a legitimate athlete to a degree, right? And so it's fucking bananas. But he's sitting there making MMA fighters look stupid. He's making them look stupid because they're reacting to it, and he's just trolling them. He's a fucking troll.
And it's unbelievable that that fight. Let's say they were right about the buys they speculated on, even if it's in that neighborhood, like a joke fight between a YouTube troll and a former UFC fighter who had already taken one of the worst
was their in
of all time. Yeah.
That was their in. You get the worst strike. They knew that what they were doing. You get the worst striker, but you're still selling. He fucked an MMA fighter up. Good MMA fighter. He had accolades. Ben Askren was an accredited MMA fighter for sure. A champion in several organizations.
He was a great wrestler.
Made him look like a
Great
fool.
crap.
Made him look like made him look like an old man and a fool. And like, if you have the money like Jake Paul and Logan Paul do, why wouldn't you train all the time and become good? If you're fight fans, why would you not get into it? And the best way to do it is to pick these little like savoring pieces off. Pick off a Ben Askren, pick off another athlete, pick off maybe an athlete that's fought a couple times, then pick off an amateur fighter. And then your first UFC fight is a fucking headliner. It's only your 6th fight of all time, but you're the Paul brother that talked his way into the UFC. CM Punk couldn't do that. We didn't get that from CM Punk. We got it from Brock Lesnar.
Best in the world, bro.
Brock Lesnar legitimately was a fucking world champion in MMA.
Revolutionized the heavyweight division.
Yes. Fucked Randy Couture up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
until Frank Mir.
There hasn't been anything. He fucked Frank Mir up.
Beat shit out of Mir too. That's one of the worst.
Fucked him once, and then Frank got him back.
No, Frank Mir got him the first time, and he fucked him. Yeah.
That's one of the worst beatings I've ever seen. Like at the end,
he made Frank Mir retarded. Frank Mir has not been the same since that fight.
Can we say we can't say I didn't think we can say retarded.
We can say that. Yeah.
Don't
boo me. Don't boo me.
So should I wait till next week to announce my fight with Jake Paul?
No, I thought you were gonna drop that you're training at Camp Chick-Fil-A. I thought.
All right. On behalf of Camp Chick-Fil-A, I'd like to announce my candidacy to fight Jake Paul. Is it happening at WrestleMania Backlash? No, it's happening at some Triller event that they're not going to pay me for. But yeah, I've been training diligently. I eat 3 spicy chicken Christian sandwiches a day. I'm downing 3 large fries with extra Chick-fil-A sauce, and I'm ready to knock this motherfucker out. It's going down.
What is the Chick-fil-A sauce? I am not a connoisseur of the Chick-fil-A menu.
Tried it for the first time today. Tried it for the first time today. Can confirm it is delicious.
Right.
It's similar to a honey mustard, but it's not mustard, and it's a little smoky.
Oh,
it almost is like a barbecue sauce honey mustard, but super heavy on the honey mustard. But you get a tang. You get like a barbecue.
Very similar to KFC's Yum sauce or signature sauce.
Oh, the Yum sauce. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because that's basically a chicken dipping sauce, and so like Walmart has a generic version. Chick-fil-A's got their own. I don't know anywhere else is doing it because everywhere else, like Zaxby's and Cane's has like that Zax sauce. It's like Thousand Island shit.
Cane sauce, spread it on me. Oh.
I could bathe in Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah,
call me Val Venus because
you gotta go with the. You gotta go with the Arby's sauce. That goes up the top.
Oh God!
I love Arby's and horsey sauce, but I know what it's going to do.
Hello, Arby's.
Yeah.
Mountains of diarrhea. Mountains.
Their prices are unbelievable. Like I could go to
like
real roast
robbery.
It's $5 for a beef and cheddar now. What?
I had to take out a second morttage the last time I bought 2 combo meals.
Because they got the meats. They got the meats, the premium meats.
Yo, I got the meats. You want to see? No, yo, have you seen that awful Arby's sandwich that has every type of meat on it for $23?
No.
I don't know what they call it. It's available everywhere, but it's not advertised everywhere. I used to tour and drive bands, and so I would go to truck stops a lot, and I saw the sign. The sign's this fucking tall. It's every meat they have: roast beef, chicken, fried chicken patties, that's a steak, pastrami, whatever they have. Every single
don't forget the brisket. They have
brisket, fish, everything. Like those meats don't even go together, but they stack them up. It's like a $23 meal, and you can totally get it.
The Meat Mountain Sandwich, the biggest sandwich Arby's has ever sold, stacked ridiculously with almost every single meat product that they offer for their sandwiches.
Meat Mountain. Yeah, that's what it's called.
The Meat Mountain Sandwich.
Arby's 2 for $6 does not exist everywhere. That's like
It's false advertisement.
Yeah, it's good.
It's regional and temporary, and it's stupid. But 2 for $6 is asinine because it used to be 2 for $4, then it became 2 for $5.
Yeah.
It's fucking roast beef on like shitty onion rolls. Like, come on, Arby's, you're the diarrhea kings.
It's a letdown every time, but I still am appalled at the $5, beef and cheddar, and I will do the 2 for $6 if I can find it, and then I'll hate myself afterwards. But
they also got rid of their.
Go ahead.
Go. As I say, they also got rid of their classic Arby's where it was just lettuce, tomato, roast beef. You could get it single, double, triple, whatever you wanted.
Lettuce on my roast beef. I want more beef.
It was shredded lettuce, and then they gave you that red mayo that was really fucking good too. That's the mayo, the spread that they do on there. No, it's the best, man. But they got rid of that, and that was like their best shit. It was like $2.50. You got a stacked fucking sandwich, double it up with some meat, get some of those fucking curly fries in your mouth.
I definitely took an upper decker shit at the Arby's in Palm Desert.
What did they do?
Any-
That?
Charge
Nothing.
$6
Absolutely
for
nothing.
fucking roast beef.
Yeah, I guess they did.
Now that we're 54 fucking minutes into this show,
Wow, I had no idea.
Wait, I
It was
want
that long.
to tell my toilet story first, since you brought up.
Here we go.
yes,
Here we
yes.
go.
Hold on, let me
So-
fully feature you, my friend.
So I never did an upper decker. I don't know why.
You're
Just
missing
maybe
out.
the mood wasn't right. I wasn't angry enough.
You got to be
but it did-
real sour to do it up.
To do it
Or
upper
drunk.
decker, yeah.
Decker, for sure.
I had a drunk friend do it at a charity event for my mother.
Why? That's
He did it.
awful.
I don't know why.
Wow.
It was at a firehouse, and he just thought it was hilarious. I'm like, this is the worst possible venue you could. So I still owe him.
Firefighters, your mother,
him that.
charity.
Yeah, but my situation was there's an event, and they have them everywhere. But there's an event around my area called the Blarney bus. It's the drunk bus for St. Patty's Day. Basically, you get on a school bus like a bunch of 10-year-old drunks.
Yep.
And you ride from bar to bar, and it's the greatest time ever somehow. So
We have that here. It's called Hop in My Back Seat.
there's Blarney bus, there's the Iron Express, there's the Shamrock and Roll. There's all they're all over the country. So we got to this bar, and I forget what it was. The line for the bathroom was very long or something, and the bartender girl was being real rude about it because the what do you call it? Bathroom was right next to the bar, and so they did something where they were like rushing my girlfriend at the time to get out of there. So when no one was paying attention, and it was both men and women could go in the same bathroom. I went into the bathroom, got in the stall, took a full roll of toilet paper, and stuffed it into the toilet as far as I could.
In the hole in the toilet?
Yeah.
That sucks down your shit?
Yes, because we were getting ready to bail. And I was so pissed at how they had been about this bathroom line and how they were talking to my girlfriend and whatever, that
Reasonable.
I did a little revenge. And we were just about to leave for the next bus. So as I'm collecting everybody to go and already chuckling to myself, there's already water coming from front of the door.
Oh no.
Let's go.
Yes.
Okay, I'll keep this short. Myself, and a couple buddies of us, including Matt, were on our way. We were in high school at this point.
God, Denny's.
On our way to go to my friend's dad's house that lived in like Fullerton, right? So we're driving a couple hours, and we stop at a Denny's to pick up my buddy in Hemet. We're eating at the Denny's. It's late at night, so we're just fucking pigging out, and we're about to hit the road.
Fucking cops.
So we're gonna fucking go to the restroom before we leave, right? We go into the restroom. There's a urinal, a stall, and a sink. One of my friends goes up to the urinal to take a piss. I decide I'm gonna go into the stall to take a piss like an asshole, even though one of us has to shit. Matt's not even the one that has to shit.
No, I had to shit.
Yeah, but Robert was the one that did the deed, didn't he?
Not the same.
I shit in the sink.
Oh, okay, it was you.
I
Yeah.
shitted in the sink.
Yeah,
we
Matt
laughed
shit in the
about
sink.
it.
And then cops walked in after us.
I couldn't wash my hands, and we left, and like 3 CHP officers walked in the bathroom. So we darted out the door, and I heard someone go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Man.
Hopped on the sink, took a shit.
Probably
I mean,
a good sign. Go ahead.
Around here, we call that halftime at an Eagles game. So
Halftime at an Eagles game. Hey,
over here we call that the Eagles playoffs.
Oh, yeah, pile of shitting. Yeah, pretty much.
How many people come to the Eagles games as Green Man?
A lot. Yeah,
That's a thing, really?
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I guess it started on Always Sunny, right?
Yeah.
I actually worked briefly for a company that distributed those the suits. They were called morph suits.
Yeah.
And so they went from green to, all right, we have red now. We have blue. We have one for every whatever, every color of the rainbow. And then it was like the zombie morph suit. And this, I thought it was like it worked, man. They were really, really busy. I don't know how they're doing now, but it was a good concept.
Yeah.
I once took a nap on a porta potty floor.
That's true.
You're disgusting.
I need details, because if you weren't exhausted from an all-day music festival, there's no excuse.
Where was this? Stagecoach? Fucking
Coachella.
2015.
Stagecoach. Oh my god.
No.
I can't stand watching Kenny Chesney. It's 110. Oh my god. Let's get into the interview portion of this shit, since we're already an hour in. Sorry, Mom, going late. Make sure you follow and subscribe. Those are 2 different terms now, to the Creative Control Network, Keepin It 100 podcast and the Raven Effect podcast, because our boy JoJo Feeney is on all of those.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start off because we got so much wrestling shit. What is like your favorite music, favorite bands? You mentioned Prince earlier. You always cover like in-depth bands and discographies on your pods.
Yeah. I'm a big, for me, it's the Doors and Guns N' Roses. That's
okay.
My big two. And then from there, like a lot of classic rock, you know, Zeppelin, The Who, Stone, stuff like that. But I also grew up in the late 80s through the 90s. So a lot of that era of rap is my shit too, especially Tupac or anything that was on death row, you know, Dre, Snoop.
The early 90s West Coast hip hop surge.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All that. And then I think once 1999 or 2000 hit, music stopped for me. So I'm still stuck in the 90s with that's as current as I get, and the rest is like from the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever.
You are the perfect demographic for every classic rock station in America. The Eagle 103.5 for JoJo Feeney.
Yeah. I mean, that's, if you're gonna have a cutoff time in music, it's a great time to do it. 2000s, you're just cutting it out.
I would say
millennium,
05.
I don't need new millennium music. No, I don't need new millennium
that
music.
Early 2000s rap and R&B, it just had a certain flair to it, bro. There was, I mean, it's not Tupac, but it's cool.
When it was Nelly and like fucking DMX, No Limit Soldiers, all that shit.
Yeah, I own
That shit.
I own DMX's CD. Actually, I think 2002 is more like the cutoff for me, because I remember Eminem's
the Eminem show.
The Eminem show. That's like the last CD I ever bought.
I was literally just about to make fun of you and say, "Oh, what, you bought the Eminem show and cut it off?"
Yeah. That was it.
I bought that CD like my last day of freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
Oh man, that CD that was the last great Eminem CD for me. After that, I went from being a big Eminem mark and just kind of got turned off after that.
Once he started putting out really stupid songs,
the
like
jokes,
ass like that, or what was the other one?
He had like golden
go doing. What is this?
He had really good Dr. Dre beats, and he said he would just like zone out and say this stupid shit. I'm like, okay, that's cool. You're creative because you can zone out and say all this stupid shit, but like, that's not the Eminem I want. Like I don't know if I want the sober or the fucked up Eminem, because it seems like the best albums were when he was on drugs, and that's fucking sad to say.
Yeah, you want Slim Shady LP.
The Marshall Mathers LP is my Bible.
Yeah, the Marshall Mathers LPs. And I mean, you got to think about how just like violent, how
he killed his ex-wife on a song.
Yeah, his mom. Like, you know, it's just fucking. That was a time where, like, unfortunately, it was probably the worst part of his life. It also
now he's raping his own mother.
I know. Kim was something, and I remember when that CD came out. And that was, we go back to this time period again. It's back when I was having a lot of parties at my house, in my room or whatever. And there was a lot of that late 90s, early 2000s, what do you call it? Ecstasy. So that was, I know
what do you call it? That drug that makes it fun?
It's called Molly or something. I don't know. But this is back when it wasn't just pure MDMA. It was ecstasy. You didn't know what was in it and what you were taking. But I remember.
We actually don't support Molly. We only support ecstasy.
Only ecstasy, yeah. But I remember just having one of those parties in my house, in my room, and someone had just bought Marshall Mathers LP. So, like, you know, I Stan and Kim and a lot of the other stuff on there. I'm Marshall Mathers, or whatever it was called. I know all those songs if you played them like by heart, just because we kept playing it, you know.
And same here. That shit just resonated with me because at the time I had never heard a rapper that talked like that. Like he was really out there, and I've never been a fan of like juggalo shit or like too much of the horrorcore stuff. So like any of that's not cool to me. But this is a mainstream rapper talking about like being broke, killing you, raping nuns, killing his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was fucking wild. Bitter Rose is not a fan. She says she would rather listen to Glass in a Blender than anything by Eminem. So that's interesting because what I've noticed is people like me, Brian, JoJo, we all have a certain respect and affection for Eminem's music.
Yeah.
The new generation, I would say if you're like 23, 24 and younger, you never got to see the big buzz and the effect Eminem had on the music industry. So a lot of those people look at him and think, oh, he's homophobic, transphobic, everything. They want to cancel him. Like there's millennials on Twitter trying to cancel Eminem. Doesn't make sense to me, but I would reserve cancellations for people that do things that are criminal or immoral, that like you did something malicious. I don't care what you say on a song. I don't care if you say fuck Matt Musselwhite and his mother. Like, I'll just sue you. I'm not going to get upset about the shit. No, I'm not going to sue anyone. Hi, counterparts.
But I always do say to people, like, you know, oh, you're stuck in the 90s, or all you listen to is this, and I'm like, dude, just give me something then. Just tell me something, like a band that's gonna, you know, I'm gonna feel a little bit like give me a Pearl Jam, give me Guns N' Roses, give me, the Stones, like I said, give me Eric Clapton, Hendrix, stuff like that.
The problem with that is I can't give you anything close to those rock acts, except maybe like a Black Keys or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might like a Kings of Leon, Black Keys, maybe. I mean, not that I'm a fan of them, but
yeah, I don't love them, but my wife liked them, so that means I have to hear them more than I would want to. But I did take them to a show, and it wasn't bad live, so I'll give them. But I know that they've fallen off like big time. I heard their last 2 or 3 records were really, really bad.
They started the cancel Eminem thing because a girl on TikTok, I know that's true, heard the lyrics of the "Her to the Bed" and set this house on fire and called him a problem. Okay, I'm not under
the lyrics in the Rihanna song where she sets the house on fire.
That song is about an abusive relationship.
Yeah. It's cancel culture is real. It just sucks. People are dumb.
It ruins everything. Everything.
Yeah.
I'm like really torn on that subject because like I've definitely got involved with cancel culture and trying to cancel certain vocalists. I mean, we did an expose on a band member that we found out was a rapist and abuser. I think those people deserve to be canceled, thrown in jail, whatever. This other stuff, like I don't know, canceling Eminem over these lyrics. Like, if you're going to cancel him because he made a song about an abusive relationship, which I don't think he's playing the part of the abuser in the relationship, he's describing a story. If you're going to do that, then you need to go and every Lifetime movie, every primetime series you see that there's women getting hit, you need to cancel those actors because this is entertainment. And if you're not entertained, then turn the shit off.
Be careful what you wish for.
It's clearly whoever complained about that didn't listen to anything Eminem pre fucking 2000 because they didn't hear
she was like 12.
They didn't hear his entire first fucking album. They didn't hear all the people he was killing and all the fans he was fucking murdering and all the fucking celebrities he was raping. So she's clearly not offended by much or hasn't listened to much if she's offended by probably his tamest like violent song.
That might have been the first thing she ever heard, but I mean,
probably.
It sounds like the beginning of all.
Cancel her. Let's cancel her and move along.
The kid. Yeah. But when I was younger, you know, if you didn't like something, you changed the channel or you turned the radio dial or you closed the book, whatever.
That's a concept.
You didn't have to go, I don't like this show, so you can't watch it. You know, it's so weird that and I won't get political on anybody. This one sentence. It's so weird.
Oh, you'll get booted. You'll get booted.
It's not like politics. It's just we went from the Republicans being the moral right and all this and going after comedians and musicians to now it seems like the Democrat side of things are behind a lot more of the canceling and the complaining and I don't know.
You can't say that, right?
Yeah. No, that's accurate. Are we booting them? Is that subject to get booted?
I'm gonna let them stay. But I think we need cancel 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
Because when I was 12, my opinion sure as shit didn't matter about anything. Like when I was 12, if you didn't want to talk about like anime or WCW, like my opinion doesn't matter for shit.
Yeah, no.
12-year-olds on TikTok. TikTok is for twerk videos.
I don't even know how to use that. Konnan's like, we got to put Keeping It 100 on TikTok. I'm like, are you sure you know what it is? what do we do on there?
I've utilized it very little, and from the little that I've done, I've got a great response. I just take like clips, like when I say something funny or when Brian is stupid, and I'll take that and I'll cut it up and make a clip, put it on TikTok. I also had a bunch of like live footage from Download Fest from 2 years ago with Slipknot, Diane Word, people like that. TikTok is dope, dude. And there's so many hot chicks on TikTok. I've never seen so many hot 22-year-olds in my life. They're all on TikTok.
They look like kids to me now, 22-year-olds, Again,
man.
Yeah, it's a problem. It is a problem.
You have like an entire podcast network, something that we've talked about and aspired to do. How did you get into podcasting?
Well, it was about 7 years ago. I was working a job as a warehouse manager, and actually it was a good job. The money was good. The benefits were great. They gave me like 12 vacation days a year. Like my first year was awesome.
Yeah, not bad.
And, but I couldn't see myself doing it until I was like 65 or whatever. Like it's always been I've dreaded the future. That's always been the way I would worry about, oh, this is great.
Bro, same.
Yeah, that's a quarter life crisis.
That's probably the next podcast we do is like just stressing about the future and crying on the internet.
Yeah. So I've probably made mistakes in my life with a variety of things just because, I was terrified of what the future might bring or whatever. So this job, I knew I couldn't do it. I knew I couldn't do warehouse type shit the rest of my life. And unfortunately for me, that's what I had been doing for 10, 15 years, whatever. That's the only experience I had. So I went back to school. I decided to go back to college. And I knew that I wanted to do something with writing, creative writing, maybe writing in a TV writer's room, something like that. So, but at the same time, I had this little itch for pro wrestling, and I was, 34 or something at the time, 33. And I was like, well, I'm definitely not wrestling because I'm never going to get into shape. And
I was going to ask you, like, as a fan, did you ever even consider that?
Yeah. When I was a teenager, we did the whole backyard wrestling thing.
Oh, God.
There's still
me and Matt have traded belts a couple times,
Yeah.
Only in the swimming pool.
Yeah, we had tapes of us, matches, promos, all this. We had a lot of fun with it.
Man, who didn't? Who fucking didn't, dude? That was the best part of growing up in the 90s and like being a wrestling fan is that you were fucking able to just have backyard wrestling matches. You had a camcorder, you had a couple friends, you were making wrestling matches for sure.
The answer to that, Jen, is no. I have not finished the pilot. I've been entirely too busy, but because she had read the beginning of something I wrote. So
okay.
I went back to school for writing, and the plan was to do whatever I need to do at community and then jump up. And I went to start going to Southern New Hampshire online, and I didn't finish. But the long story short is I knew that there was something with wrestling. If I could tie these things together somehow, then that would be the dream job.
You didn't finish college either, because that shit right there is inspirational to me, because I went to a community college and finish. And when I find other people that they do something I like, I look at it and go, man, I could fucking do that.
Yeah, I haven't finished. Hopefully I will. Like I said, I'm going to be 40, but it would be nice to finish. So
you could have done it, Bitter Rose. You could have done it.
So I went to the seminar at the Monster Factory. Danny Cage runs the Monster Factory now.
Yeah, Monster Factory,
New Jersey. And, it's been known for a long time, Bam Bam Bigelow, King Kong Bundy, The Godfather, now Matt Riddle, Damian Priest, QT Marshall, guys like that were all there.
I love Damian Priest.
And so I went over there for this seminar. It was by Joel Gertner, who was a manager in ECW, managed the Dudley Boys. And
the quintessential stud muffin.
The quintessential stud muffin, yeah. And the seminar was called the Business of the Business. So I looked at it like, maybe I can learn something there. I'm not going to be able to wrestle. That's not going to be my place. So maybe I'll find something out here and make some connections. And that's basically what happened. I went to the seminar. It was really excellent. I learned a lot of things. And, as they were going around the room asking people, what do you want to do? Where do you see you going with this character or whatever? I was the only one I know that didn't want to be a wrestler. So he was like, well, what are you doing here? I was like, well, I kind of want to get into wrestling. Like, I'd like to be on the creative side of things somehow, be a part of a think tank, whatever. So
they don't have like a manager's class, like to teach you how to be a Mr. Fuji.
They have to, no, you have to take the wrestler's class to be a manager because you got to know how to bump and all that.
I think the refs do too, for the most part.
Hey, I think you could too, man. I think you could. If you just got in there and took a bump or two, you might be able to fucking,
So I made connections there with Gertner and Danny Cage and some of the wrestlers, and I started writing articles, like reviews of shows on TV, or I interviewed guys like Homicide, Luke Hawks, and stuff like that. I was just trying to find a way to do something. So I would submit whatever I wrote to the wrestling websites. And someone, that's how, like, the story is not very good because I can't give credit to anyone. Someone was like, why don't you do a podcast? That's where it's all, that's where all the interest is right now. This was 2014. So it was starting to explode a little bit. There was MLW Radio, there was Colt, but there was also Jericho and Austin and Observer Live and all this. The podcasts were starting to grow. So I started Creative Control, and I just didn't know really what I wanted to do. I wasn't too fond of my own voice, nothing. It just wasn't something that I thought I wanted to do, but I was just doing it for, to try to get attention somehow. And I started getting really lucky with guests. I had Vince Russo on pretty early. I had Pritchard. I had Diamond Dallas Page. I had Al Snow. I had
solid.
I kept getting lucky with guests, and I found myself getting better at interviewing. And so that went on for a little while. I know we're going to the network, but that went on for a little while. And Konnan got in touch with me about keeping it 100 because he was having problems with his producer at the time, Kevin Gill.
Oh my God. Shouts to KG and how fucking terrible he is and everything.
I love KG because it's the fact that he was so hated that has made me,
it made you you made a babyface turn just by KG being the ultimate go home heat heel.
Yes. And I should be grateful. That totally did help me. But Konnan messages me. He's like, I'm having this trouble. Would you want to produce Keepin' It 100? Are you a listener? Whatever. I'm like, yeah, I've been listening to you since MLW Radio. And I know, I just know your shows. I know I have an idea of what you think is funny and should stay, and I have an idea of what you would want cut and all this stuff. He's like, all right, I'm going to give you a try. Maybe we'll put you on as the fourth mic, but I don't think you'll ever really do the show.
Not to mention, KG was sending the podcast out and outsourcing the editing, wasn't even fucking doing it himself.
Yeah, of course. So he's like,
that's pathetic as shit.
And I have it to a science now. It's like all you had to do was work at it, and you just
master the software and you get it down. You do shit quickly.
I don't want to turn this into KG Bash Fest, but I think he felt like stuff like that was below him. Like I'm already a star on the ICP theater, whatever. I don't need to do this shit. I don't know.
I could believe that. No, yeah. KG bashing's our next episode.
Shout out to all the juggalos and juggalettes. What up?
Whoop whoop, drinking your Faygo. So, KG somewhere choking on Faygo.
Yeah. So Konnan was like, I'll bring you on to produce. I know you produce your own stuff. You'll probably never be on the show. I listened to an episode. You sound kind of boring. I was like, oh, okay. I'll just produce.
He's too real.
Yeah. And I didn't have a problem with that because, again, I didn't start podcasting with like podcasting dream. I got better at it, and it became a way to make income too. So I didn't care if I wasn't going to be on the show. I came in to produce. Well, KG left about 6 months later, and there's your third mic. Okay. So around that time, I was trying to figure out any way that I could, another way to make money in podcasting. I would make money off Creative Control ads here and there. And I had what Konnan was paying me, and then eventually I got off, money off the Patreon, but it wasn't enough. It was not going to be enough, and I had to decide what I was going to do. Am I going to try to push this really full time, or am I just going to go drive a fucking forklift? So one of the things I came up with was like, I know what I'm doing now. I know how to produce and edit. I know how to get guests. I know how to find ads. I know how to promote shows. You put it all together, and I was like, maybe I could help other people that want to get into podcasting or are already in it and don't really know certain stuff. I was like, maybe I could help other shows get noticed or whatever. So I was like, I'm going to try it. That's Creative Control Network came from that. I was just like, mostly I thought I was going to give up and coming shows a chance. I never expected to have some names on there. So the whole concept of Creative Control Network was to help people get their names out there and help them make money. And in the same, the same way, I'm going to make myself money too, because I'm going to take my fat percentage and all that. But, and eventually it went from having some no-name guys on the show that were trying to get started. Like my third or fourth show, well, there was some, I don't want to insult. There's a couple of no-name guys. And then Shane Hagler. Who? Shane Hagler and Jeff Schwartz came on to do an honorable mention.
Those are the Ring of Honor historians, bro.
Ring of Honor historians, yeah. I know they always bust their balls, but Shane right now, he works for AEW. Like he's in.
I follow Shane on Facebook. He's actually like interesting as fuck.
Yeah. And then Pat McNeil and Jim Valley came on. Pat was with the Torch forever. Jim Valley was with Wrestling Observer forever. So they were known. They did another wrestling show. But then Animal's lawyer contacted me. And I was like, oh shit, it's funny. Like I barely spoke to Animal. Like it just wasn't necessary. I didn't co-host with him. All I had to do was produce and try to find ads.
And he's a fucking legend.
Yeah. So immediately having Animal on was like, bam, like this is legit. This is real now. And then shortly thereafter, Joel Gertner came on. It didn't work, but he was on for a little bit. And then Shane came on. Okay, Animal and Shane Helms. Like, holy shit, this is a real is a real thing now. So basically that's how it started. And to this day now, it's been about 3 years since I started it. And I like the group that I have now. And COVID was a hurt piece, like it was for everyone. But I think everyone still did kind of okay last year, considering. And I'm hoping things get better this year too, as far as ads and all that. The world is constantly changing, the podcasting world. So I don't know how closely you guys follow it, but Spotify's making big moves. There's going to be a lot of competition between Spotify and whoever else wants to step up. Like, they're trying to sign shows exclusively. They're going to make it paid content. They've brought in some ad companies they're on their own. Now Spotify has bought them to make them their ad company to find you ads. Spotify is making a lot of moves. So that's my podcasting tip for the day. But yeah, did I answer the question all right?
Yeah, no, you went perfect.
Yeah,
you actually make a lot of sense too, because I actually started this podcast, or a form of it, in 2008. It was so easy to get bands on the show and to be the only podcast that was interviewing what we call scene bands, like underground core bands, whatever. And I never got denied a guest. Like, we always had plenty of traffic and viewers, and now it's a whole different game. Everyone and their cousins got a podcast talking about every fucking thing you can think of.
Yeah.
It's changed completely.
It's hard because the problem with it, like Konnan and Disco have said, is anybody can do it. Anybody can upload a show. Anybody can do a YouTube channel, whatever. And that's great. Everyone can express themselves however they want and all. But some of the more amateurish podcasters hurt the people that, are serious about it or know what they're doing, because someone had a bad experience getting interviewed on this other shitty podcast. Now they have it. Now they don't want to do other ones unless you can show them, oh yeah, I have 100,000 downloads a week, whatever, which is ridiculous. But so that's, a lot of the shitty ones out there hurt the ones that are trying to do it.
It
right.
waters down everything. Like that was one of the main reasons that we decided not to be a wrestling podcast. Like, we're not wrestlers. We haven't been to the industry. We have the point of view of a fan. We're not going to land wrestling guests because, big time wrestlers, you're never going to get the WWE guys. AEW snubbed me 4 times. Impact barely gives a shit. You're just not going to get those guys on. It's tough to do. So hearing that you got those guests and you had a fucking podcast with Animal, like, that shit like ran all the way up to his death, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I think timing was a lot to do with how, the success that came my way, because when I started in 2014, there was shows, but not as many. So
nope.
Like I said, almost 35, 40 episodes in, I had like Russo and Bruce Pritchard back to back. And I was blown away, like, holy shit, a lot of the guys that were like my dream guests, and it wasn't your Hulk Hogan or Austin or whatever, which I'm not saying I wouldn't have those guys.
Inside guys, though.
Yeah, I wanted
guys that have the info and shit,
I would love to have Russo on this podcast. I've messaged him a couple times, but he doesn't read them.
And it's not your fault. It's because he's done shitty ones, or he's done shows where the guys...
Or they ambush him.
Yeah, they shit talk him afterwards or whatever.
I'm a Russo fan, so that's not our intent. I ordered an Impact pay-per-view like 2 years ago, and he was in the chat on Fight App, and I was like, bro, that's so funny.
He's a nice guy. He really is.
I don't really buy into a whole lot of the bullshit. I take everything with a grain of salt. I listen to a show. Dude's interesting. He's cool. I know through your podcast that you watch WWE, you watch NXT, AEW, because you guys review those. There's no way you have time to watch the other shit, right? Like Impact, New Japan, Ring of Honor.
I honestly, I rather would, because Raw drives me nuts. Like, that's a tough spot.
It's a hard 3 hours.
It is. That's a long time to dedicate to anything, SmackDown's been getting better.
I thought tonight was really, really interesting. With the Usos and Roman.
When I had it on, it was the chauffeur guy or the wine tape, whatever this
Reginald.
guy. Reginald was about to wrestle, and then I went over to record the other thing. But it's hard to watch WWE, and it's funny like that it's become a chore for me now, and I always laugh at myself for complaining, like, oh, boo-hoo, you have to watch the wrestling and then talk about it, boo-hoo, But I do watch Raw and SmackDown. I'm not like into it like I was. I have fun watching AEW, and that can go either way. It's either fun because it's really good and I'm liking it, or it's fun because I can't understand for the life of me what they're doing.
Yeah, they make some questionable decisions.
Yeah, And I don't see as much NXT as the rest of the stuff. So mostly the WWE main shows and AEW. I'll watch an Impact pay-per-view when it's on, and that's really the extent of it. I never got too big into the Japan stuff, and Ring of Honor, we'll see how that goes,
Ring of Honor has like the most complicated scheduling, so I never really get around to seeing that. I mean, it's different regionally because it's Sinclair, but New Japan's been a little easy with me because of the app.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, man, if you're talking like steady improvements over the past 3 years, Impact Wrestling has made the biggest strides to go from a company that every single segment and match was a joke, was not entertaining, was not what you're looking for, to going to having some of the, like, they really had an incredible roster for the past 3 years. When you look at it, like at one point they had Pentagon, Phoenix, John Morrison, Sami Callihan, Killer Cross, Austin Aries under the same roster. Like
LAX.
LAX, yep, they've been getting so much better. I actually enjoy watching them on Thursdays now.
Yeah, it's just I have to get it in my, like, if I don't really schedule something in my head, I'll just totally forget about it. Like we were doing,
you need it all on in demand.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
we were doing AEW and NXT reviews last night. Konnan's like, Joe, did you watch NXT? And I'm like, no. He's like, what? Why not? I'm like, I don't know. It's on Tuesday. I got confused. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't watch wrestling on Tuesday. What's it doing on Tuesday?
NXT rarely disappoints, but you're spot on about Raw, man. The 3 hour show is lacking the most when SmackDown seems to be picking up. So for the most part, with the current product as a whole, like wrestling as a whole, not just WWE, I'd say, you probably don't like the WWE stuff as much. You might be 50-50 as far as like wrestling as a whole right now.
Yeah, they bother me because some of the guys that I tuned in to watch back when I got the reason I did obviously I did the wrestling podcast. It means I loved it at some point, right? A lot of the guys that inspired me to watch again and get really into it are gone. Punk was a big reason. Punk was a big reason I started watching again, but so was Brian, as he was getting over back then. And if you watch a Raw from 2012 or something like that, and compared to today, even when there was a crowd, it's just totally different. Even the energy 8 years ago was crazy, and every story had a point, and it was going somewhere, and certain characters didn't interact, so that when they did, it meant something. It's funny to me that it gets so analyzed. Like my wife will, like I would say something to my wife, like I just said to you guys, how this doesn't make sense, and this guy shouldn't interact here, and she's like, I thought it was just wrestling. What is this?
You're implementing logic into it.
Yeah.
What's like your favorite? Because it is a stale product now, right? And I've been out of the loop for, I'm in the loop, but I haven't been invested. There's nothing to get invested about in wrestling in my eyes because, yeah, you're right. It's a lot of nonsense, flat. It all falls flat. What do you think's the best generation of wrestling, or what's your favorite generation of wrestling? Your favorite? Give it 7-8 years. Your favorite chunk.
They got different names from the eras.
They do. I don't know if you want to go by the eras, but what's like your favorite chunk of time?
Attitude, ruthless
I would
aggression.
say it would have to be Attitude, but not so like it's everything though. It's not just WWE Attitude, and because actually, if you go watch Attitude shows from like '99 or something, the in ring is the shit. It's not that great. It's fine, but it's not that great until guys like Jericho and Benoit come in, and then Angle, all these guys started coming in. Edge started getting better, all that. 2000's great. 99, not so much. But I would say from 90,
unless it's a European title match with X-Pac and D'Lo.
X-Pac and D'Lo, tremendous SummerSlam '98. But from summer '96 till WCW and ECW folded, it was like that's when I got back into it again. I had a little bit of a break there too, from being a little kid into a teenager, and then now you're in your late teens, and somehow wrestling's cool again, and you find your way back into it, and everyone's watching Mondays and flipping back and forth, and it's an excuse to go try to find a homeless guy to buy you a 40 of Bud or whatever, but 96, 97 to 2001, I would say.
Yeah.
Hey, do you mind checking out this room at this Econo Lodge and maybe buying this crack for me real quick?
You bring up a valid point, because there was a point in time where like the big stars didn't always cross paths. Like you didn't see a whole lot of Undertaker and Rock in the late 90s, right? They never, the Ministry and the Rock, for whatever reason, never crossed
Undertaker
paths.
and Rock actually didn't have good in-ring chemistry for whatever reason. Like that's why they stopped booking them.
Yeah.
But that was the only people that those two guys ever had an issue with. Like on paper, it doesn't make sense. But
No,
I mean, Bruce
phenomenal,
Pritchard
right?
admitted it too. They had a chemistry issue. Their matches weren't good.
Yeah, might be generational difference. I don't know, but yeah, 96, 97 to 2001, and then when I was a kid, of course, so 87 to 92, and then later on, like I said, when Punk did the pipe bomb, I probably was watching more seriously 2001 to maybe 2015. So for the last 6 years, I go back and forth. Sorry.
No, you're good. Punk drew me back in. You're right there, and he's one of the characters where, I felt like if it was stale, you needed that kind of, you're breaking almost too real to handle. You're breaking not kayfabe, but like Stone Cold was the biggest because he seemed like he had no parameters. Well, now they're cutting Punk's mic off as he's wearing a Stone Cold t-shirt, or he's dropping the bomb on everybody and basically telling everybody to fuck off, and doesn't care about contracts, doesn't care about the championship belts, just wants to be the best wrestler. And it's like,
if you didn't read the internet, you could believe everything that happened on TV with CM Punk was all a shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way the media blew up afterwards, he was doing interviews everywhere, and all of a sudden, I had a reason to watch and follow it again, and and then after he left and Bryan was injured, it was like, man, this is but then Owens came in and stuff, and so there's always somebody new. But my problem with it now is like, all right, you're letting Bryan go, you got rid of Joe, and there's even something like the Iconics. I thought the Iconics were hilarious. You let the Iconics,
I love them. I love them.
I'm having trouble. I mean, Reigns is doing good stuff right now, and Sammy and Kevin are always good, and AJ's good. Like, that's basically who I like. If it's not those guys, Randy's good, of course, but it's not like it was where every time someone came out, I was like, oh, cool, I'm invested in this. I can't wait to see what happens here. I don't care what happens. I don't care who wins or loses anymore because I'm not invested.
You guys made a really good point on keeping it 100 when it comes to AEW. You guys were like, well, where was Matt Hardy? Where was Hangman Page? And dude, you could ask that question about half their roster. AEW, to me, as much as I like it, I enjoy it. It's a great show. I think they'll do great. AEW seems like if you were playing the video game and you could fantasy book, you have this big ass roster with a Darby Allin, a Sting, all the Bullet Club dudes.
Yeah.
But they're not utilizing everyone. Like, it is physically impossible to utilize everyone they have under contract. Then all the whatever you want to call them, enhancement talent, elevation guys, the dark guys, you have all these people, and it's like, it's great you're keeping the wrestling business employed during the pandemic, but like, you can't fucking do anything with half these people. So
look at all the people that WWE just released and think to yourself,
and they're going to get picked up.
Who are they going to bring? Well, Tony Khan is, he's an internet smart message board guy. That's what he was. Do you think he wants to bring in Joe because he remembers him as Ring of Honor champion? Yes. The Iconics. Well, the one girl is Shawn Spears' wife. Do you think he wants to? Yes. Daniel Bryan, if he's available, are you kidding me, dude?
Daniel Bryan already made comments saying he wanted to wrestle Kenny Omega, so it makes sense that he would, go over there.
Yeah, he wants to do his thing. He wants to wrestle in Mexico. He wants to wrestle in Japan again. He wants to wrestle Omega. But when you're Tony Khan, you probably have 15 American Dragon shirts in your closet. You're gonna sign that guy.
I have a kind of a. Were you gonna ask a question, Matt?
Yeah, but go for it.
Well, I mean, this is kind of off cuff. We're talking about Bryan coming back. Does it bother you when wrestlers get injured and they decide to like relight their career? I take I don't want to see Bryan get hurt, and he had concussion issues. I don't want to see him suffering any long-term damage. You kind of worry about an Edge coming back, right? Yeah. Knowing that he was a bad move away from not being able to walk
in a way.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's wise?
I mean, these guys, when you're a big enough name in the wrestling business, you can kind of make money forever at something, even if it's just, I have a website and sell shirts and do autograph signings. You can probably make enough to keep your house in your name and your electric on and all that. But some of these guys, they went out the way they didn't want to. Edge didn't want to retire. Bryan certainly didn't want things to go wrong. The guy was the champion, finally, And it goes back to like Michaels was out for 4 years with this supposedly debilitating back injury, and my God, it takes
career ending,
paralyzed. Yeah. So it happens all the time. I would say I trust the guys, some to have their own best interest, and then the doctors wouldn't clear them if they couldn't compete. And it does make some matches a little more, cringeworthy stuff. Like anytime I see Bryan taking like you know, a suplex on his head and neck or whatever. It's like, oh shit, stop doing the flying headbutt, dude. But it's
everyone who does the flying headbutt needs to stop.
Well, yeah. I mean, Harley Race said it 30 years ago or 20 years ago or whatever. Stop doing the move. It's the reason I'm in a wheelchair. You know?
Was it hard? I thought Dynamite Kid said something too, like don't do this shit.
He said it too, but Harley was the first guy to really do it. And he told Dynamite, and Dynamite didn't listen, and Dynamite told Benoit, and Benoit didn't listen, and so on. You know, because everyone's smarter than the guy before them. But I mean, from a guy myself that used to go to the ECW arena and see some of the crazy stuff they've done, you know, all those guys getting dropped on their heads for my enjoyment. And
New Jack's head injury.
Yeah.
When that fat dude fell on him. Oh my
Vic
God.
Grimes.
Vic Grimes, man.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Breaking someone's neck in ECW is just called a Tuesday.
Yeah. I'm just one of those fans that obviously I don't want anyone to get hurt, and I feel like it's their choice though, and it's the responsibility of the company to keep them out of dangerous situations.
Yo, this is a valid point. Daniel Bryan doesn't want to do anything in life except wrestle. Yeah, that's probably true, and the fact that he got like a second lease on life with coming back. What I heard about how he rehabilitated and oxygenized his brain, shit sounds insane. Like. But still somewhat logical. I have no idea how Edge and Christian came back from their injuries. I don't know, like if it was just time or what.
Because Edge had the neck problem and he had spinal stenosis and all that does not heal.
Yeah,
I don't know. But Christian was out because of concussions, right? So maybe he did the similar things to what Bryan did. But if there's some kind of oxygen treatment that can help you, you know,
it's like a hyperbolic chamber.
Get your brain working 100% again. I'm in because I don't know. I can't even remember the grocery list when I'm at the store. I swear normally now. So
there's
that's the Yangling.
Not to make it even more disappointing, but they've found CTE in soccer players from headbutting the ball.
Yes.
Like it's something small like that. Kids for sure kids are like highly likely to get CTE just because they're fucking dropped on their heads and shit all the time. So it's minor bumps that are causing it. And what's crazy is you can have like repaired, you can get the repair path. You just okay, you're showing signs now, but again, is Daniel Bryan going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame at 60, in bad shape? Like it sucks. But granted, that's his life.
No, they're gonna wait till he dies like Vader.
It's crazy in different cases though. Like you said, like a kid could get CTE from headbutting the soccer ball 20 times, whatever.
That kid I headbutt certainly did.
And then you see Tommy Dreamer, who's been getting hit in the head for 30 years in wrestling. And I'm not saying he's all there, but Tommy isn't fucked up like that.
I probably has a slight limp.
I worry for Mick. That I Quit match with The Rock, where The Rock just went to fucking town on him, son.
Yeah. Those are some of the meanest, stiffest chair shots you're ever gonna see.
I never ever understood that night because we've never got a comment from The Rock on it. Like Mick kind of like excuses him in a way and says like, The Rock took some liberties that night. Why? I don't understand. I never understood that, in
front of his kids, fucking crying. I just remember Beyond the Mat and they're crying.
Beyond the Mat is so weird, man. I Vince definitely didn't like that movie.
Such a great film. Fuck, man. There's few times where I'm just like, that is a powerful moment in wrestling. When Shawn Michaels beat Ric Flair at WrestleMania 2, that was another one.
I'm sorry, I love you.
I love you.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, when I keep complaining about the TV shows or whatever, but it still has the ability to create moments like that when it's done right. I think that's why I get so frustrated when it's not.
Yeah, my buddy JJ showed me the Shawn Michaels, and I was just like, man, that's something that you can be a grown man and start. He bawled. He was like, I cried, bro. I cried, and I'm like, yeah, dude, that's a fucking intense moment for sure.
Actually, Ric Flair didn't retire that night. He went on to wrestle in TNA.
Yeah. Well, you can call it wrestling.
I really can't though.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much story there between those two guys, and Flair had been around 40 years and Shawn had been around 25, whatever it was. But not only is it the story between them, but there's people in the audience that have their own stories. Oh, I saw Flair.
Their eyes out too.
Yeah. I've been watching Shawn since 1988. Holy shit, I saw Flair do this. I saw Flair do that. I'm sure there's plenty of people that go, I remember when I drank 6 kamikazes with Flair at the Airport Marriott. Oh my God, this is a big moment.
Bro, what?
Baltimore Marriott, yeah.
Hey, his 30 for 30 is a fucking gem of a fucking documentary, man, because that shit was so good.
He's still wild.
So good.
He got sick or whatever it was. I don't think it was heart problems. I don't know if you call that sick, but so it was looking bad. And the doctors, he came back, he was revived, all that, and the doctors are like, you got to slow down, stop living the way you were. And Flair's like, no. I'm going back to I'm not going to die unhappy.
This is my hot take. And I may be wrong. I also have another hot take for you, JJ, JoJo, that we're going to be. And the reason I say JJ is because my buddy JJ completely disapproves of it. But I'll tell you that in a second. Here's my one hot take. I think Ric Flair might have been like borderline retarded. I said it. But the reason I say that is for the 30 for 30. In the 30 for 30 that he did, he's just like a country kid. Like he's probably, I don't want to say dumb because that sounds so. I just called him retarded. But he seemed like he was only into wrestling, right? He was well formed, was athletic, right? But he just only focused on wrestling, like with an almost autistic level of focus.
Oh my God! You cannot call Ric Flair autistic on this show.
I think that's why he's high functioning, man. He can be high functioning, but I think that's why he's just the greatest, and that's why it's never been the persona of I'm Ric Flair or whatever his real name is to I'm gonna become the greatest wrestler of all time. There was no, hey, I'm a real person and I'm a character. He was just always Ric Flair. It just took him however long to become the character and become the person, and now that's who he is. He's Ric Flair the wrestler. He'll never be known as anything else.
The dark side of the ring that was just on about Brian Pillman. He got lost in the character. Hulk Hogan, he's not Terry. He's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he's not Terry Bollea. Yeah, no.
Wow, that's weird. Yeah.
And some guys don't know how to separate it. Like that's it. Some
we're for sure going to hell for saying Ric Flair's autistic.
Flair had it at a young age, though, I think, which is kind of crazy. Here's my other hot take, and I think you might like it.
Son of a bitch.
Benoit and Guerrero.
Oh God,
had an intimate relationship, and that's why Benoit was so torn up about.
I have to boot you for that, man. I've heard this theory, and I know they were close, and Benoit was distraught after Eddie's death. But does that make any sense at all, JoJo?
Think about it.
I don't agree, but I've read people speculating that, and
I've read fan fiction that had some graphic details.
Some literotica or what?
Benoit wrote to Eddie constantly after his death, and there's just a funny thing. I don't know that it exists in other sports or whatever, where the male wrestlers always tell each other they love each other.
Yeah.
I don't really tell my friends that. It's not just, it just doesn't happen. So those guys, it's two guys, Chris and Eddie, always telling each other they love each other. You never know. I don't think so, but I've seen it speculated on for sure.
I hate you for that question. Who do you think right now is the best and worst doing it? Maybe someone underrated, maybe someone overrated. And there's a few of those. Maybe who you think is the biggest waste of talent, Dolph Ziggler. But yeah, who do you think fits any of those categories?
Banged Sonny, sir. So please hold your tongue.
He banged Sonny like way after the fact, and then she aired him out and said he had a crooked dick.
Hey man,
there's nothing wrong with a little bend.
Yeah,
a little zigzag. Hey,
zigzag. The best and worst right now. Roman is one of the top guys on TV for sure.
In the ring and the mic.
And AJ, he's always great. Jericho, he has his detractors now because he, put on some weight or whatever. But
the obvious blading.
Yeah, that was bad. But
this was the worst of the night because I never see that shit, but I saw his.
Yeah. If you're like a super specific fan looking for shit like that, you can see it almost every time it's done. The trick is to fool somebody like that thinks they know everything, and this fooled nobody. So they
did a poor job of camera cuts mainly.
Yeah, it's like you see the guy moving his wrist tape. Why are you zooming in? Oh my God!
There's still action in the ring. Somebody was getting hit with a chair in the ring. They could have cut to.
That's a problem. I bet he was infuriated too. Just like he was
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know how he is.
Yeah. Just like he was probably infuriated that when he took the bump from the cage, they shot it from the only angle that showed that it was cardboard. high up angle wouldn't have made that clear. You'd have seen the crash pad, sure, but or from behind, you wouldn't have seen the fact. The way they shot it, he hits the silver steel and it folds up and it's obviously cardboard. I was like, oh my God.
Whenever WWE does a crash pad, everything is black.
Yeah.
Black cardboard over a black tarp. They have black random plastic hoses.
Yeah.
They do a good job of making it look like it's a random part of the stage. And I've never watched it and thought, oh, that's a crash pad. When Shane jumped off the Titantron, I knew it was, but it looked good.
Yeah.
You didn't see brown cardboard or wood.
Yeah. I think when he jumped off the cage at Mania, that's the only time I saw something. Just that when he hit, it was like obviously this air mattress looking thing compressing, But other than that, I don't blame him. He's jumping off the fucking cage. And I don't blame Jericho either. They need to do these things safe. Look at what happened when Matt Hardy came down on the back of his head, dude. He almost died on pay-per-view. He almost died.
And, when was that?
Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy in AEW.
Guevara clocked him with the fucking chair and ripped him open.
Yeah, he
I remember that. Yeah,
he speared him off a ladder. He speared him off a ladder through a table to the concrete floor, and there was nothing. There wasn't like a second table behind it to cushion his fall. There was nothing. You gotta watch this. And Hardy just waxed the back of his head from all the way up, and he can't stand. He's swinging. He's not selling, dude. He can't stand. And the girl ref Aubrey gave it the old gimmick, gave it the X.
Oh no!
And their idiot doctor was like, he can still compete. They wrestled this match, dude. He could not keep his feet under him. If you look, that's when Rebby Sky, his wife, was on Twitter like, "Are you fucking shitting me?" Like,
wow,
it was the worst.
She is so vocal too.
Yeah, it was the worst example of putting a wrestler in a bad position and not helping him, because of course he's going to want to go. He's a wrestler. It was someone else's job to go. This is
you can never leave it up to the athlete.
You can punch out, dude. Your day's done. So.
Now that I've totally sidetracked you. Best and worst, underrated, overrated.
Best,
anywhere, any company. We've already gone over Roman.
Yeah, Roman, Jericho, AJ. It's probably the best.
Top notch.
Best out there. I'm trying to think.
Omega? You're a Kenny Omega fan? I feel like he's
I like Omega. I don't know. I think it's just that promo on Wednesday that kind of soured me a little bit. It was like directionless. I don't know. I just didn't like it. He has a little trouble.
He has a weird promo style, because when I watched him in New Japan, I felt like the first time I saw Jake Roberts promo, like, oh man, this is different. This is a different cadence. He's talking lower. He's doing everything different. It's not a normal promo. Like, this will be unique when he comes to the US. And then AEW's promos, I can't tell you a single memorable or great Kenny Omega promo. Like, they're not bad to be like, oh, you suck, but they don't do anything, and you're the fucking champ.
And maybe I'm missing it. Like you said, maybe I'm not familiar enough with his cadence or whatever to understand that he's doing this the way he wants to, instead of me thinking, oh, he seems like he's tripping up. I don't know. So, I mean, in ring, of course, and Moxley's phenomenal too. So the worst, Nia Jax,
it is definitely real general.
They're all working together. It's one big sweaty team of men. Nia Jax is one of the worst, and she's just gotten worse, and because she injured both her knees, so now she's carrying a little extra weight on top of two surgically reconstructed knees. It limits the shit out of her, and she's just dangerous. It looks dangerous to me.
She's very dangerous. She's always been that way. Probably because she's green, probably because she's got a little bit of an ego being in that family and thinking she's entitled. I thought her wrestling, her in-ring shit was pretty good for a while.
Yeah.
And then she started just, the shit with Asuka, the shit with Kairi Sane. Even tonight, I don't know for certain because it just aired, but she threw Natalya down straight on her head to the mat, and it seemed very awkward.
Yeah. She
doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to have too much concern about shit like that. I don't know why, but she tore it up with Ronda. And actually, between her and Tamina, Tamina's another one that just never got any better. But for some reason, those two against each other is kind of fascinating. Like,
because they're going to hurt one another.
They're beating the shit out of each other. Yeah, exactly. So I would just say, Nia is probably one of the ones I don't want to watch. I've never been a Corbin fan.
Ooh, I actually like Corbin. He's a total heel and a dick, but I like his in-ring shit.
I liked him in NXT, and then I don't know what changed, but I know for a fact, like we were talking about, if I'm less of a fan now, more than a fan, when have I watched? When he became that Constable Corbin shit, and he just dominated Raw, he was on there like 8 segments a show, that's when I stopped watching. I couldn't stop.
Yeah, it was overkill, and he wasn't doing enough.
Yeah. So that's really it. Overrated, underrated. Underrated. I think QT Marshall is underrated, actually. I don't know how many people agree with that. You know, I think he does good stuff.
I think most people hate him based off of what they've seen on the show, or they just assume that he's probably getting easy passes and shit.
Cody's boy. Yeah, no, I've seen him. He was at the Monster Factory 7 years ago when I was there, and I got to watch him train the other guys and watch him have fucking excellent matches, you know, and it didn't cost me a dime to be there. It was like a $5 ticket, whatever, because I didn't want to always be a, you know, dickhead and just wander in and not give the damn school any money. So I would also bring a cooler of beers with me as well. So that's a move.
Doing it right.
It was I had one of the best times I've ever had.
I got beer and somas. Who wants some?
The best time I ever had at a wrestling show, one of them was I was sitting backstage at the Monster Factory watching the card on the big, like they had a big projector screen in the back so everyone could see. And I was sitting next to Blue Meanie and Wild Bill Wiles. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was Bilvis Wesley in ECW. Bill Wiles. And
Bilvis Wesley.
Bilvis Wesley, yeah. And we're just crushing beers. And I'm just listening to these two guys who have been around veterans, whatever, like, you know, make fun of the match a little bit or say, oh my God, I can't. No, turn and face the crowd, you know, shit like that. That was a blast. Okay, underrated. Yeah, QT. I can't think of, maybe Sammy. I think Sammy Callahan's underrated. I don't know why.
He's so good.
With this AEW Impact crossover, Sammy's got history with Moxley. Maybe they will go that way eventually. I don't know, but I'd like to see Sammy back.
As much as I love promotions doing that sort of thing, and I love that quote forbidden door being open.
Yeah,
I think the AEW Impact relationship has only benefited Kenny Omega. I talked to someone who runs a wrestling podcast today because they were asking for fan questions, and I said, do you think that the portrayal of the Impact title for the past couple months has discredited it? Because Don Callis is the vice president of Impact. Okay, he works there. He does not work for AEW. He probably gets paid for appearances or whatever. But he straight up said the AEW title that is not part of his company, that's the real world title. And that was before Kenny even won the shit. And now Kenny's the Impact title. He's the Impact champion. You already discredited it. You made it seem like Impact is not an important company when it should be just as important. Yeah. And the Sammy Guevara crossover failed because of backstage heat or whatever. Yeah. I feel like as cool as a Sammy Callahan to AEW would be, we're not going to get it. Like, they're just botching this thing. And I think the next, in 2 pay-per-views, Kenny will either drop that title or something will happen. And this relationship will be done. And we're going to look back and be like, damn, Impact didn't get shit from that.
Yeah, I really had high hopes for that when they started teasing it. I was like, yeah, this is going to be cool for both.
No one's crossed over.
Yeah, and they barely promoted Kenny's pay-per-view title match or defense, or no, it was his title shot. But somehow the shows that he's been on, the pay-per-views, have been like huge for Impact. At least, you know, their numbers and standards and whatnot now.
A spike in Impact's numbers isn't saying much because they, as great as I think they are and they could be, they still struggle to get viewers.
Yeah. So exactly, I think that and Don knows Kenny well, obviously. I think that he knows that he can.
I liked Rikishi too.
Yeah, Rikishi was awesome.
I went to a San Francisco house show that he was like the main star of. So shouts to Rikishi.
Yeah, tremendous. Yeah, but I would back
it up.
I would say Don. This is all Don. You know, he believes in Kenny. He knows Kenny, and it was probably, dude, come over here. You can be the champion there. I need your name and shit. Like, it might even just be a favor, you know.
Well, you know, they tried to court Jericho before he went to AEW, and it just like, I don't know how serious the talks got, but I could see Jericho being like, "I'm sorry, Don, I just can't be in Impact."
Yeah, yeah, and like he never was going to go anywhere. Just AEW was a different approach. They were going to be on TNT, not what am I thinking of? What any of the many channels Impact went on? The Hunting Channel or
Destination America, the Pop Network.
Pop, yeah. So I think that's exactly it. The thing that happens with Impact is guys do get devalued going there, and Chris is too smart. That's why he never went there in the mid 2000s. They wanted him, and that's why he never went there anytime.
That would have been a bad idea.
And I think who's the company that owns Impact? A Canadian company.
Anthem.
Anthem probably made him a great offer. The money, it might have been even more than Tony Khan, but you're exactly right. He probably went, I can't do that to my name. I can't do it. So.
Yeah, I can see Jarek. And it's not an entitlement thing. It's like protecting your brand. Impact had a reputation and they weren't known at being really great at anything at that point. And if he would have left in the mid 2000s, those few times Jericho left the company, came back, that would have been a massive downgrade because those Jericho returns and those reinventions of his character were fucking great. I mean, whether it was changing his hair or changing his pants, all that shit was dope. I
think the only guy that left to go to Chris. It's funny that she says Edge because I was just going to say okay.
Haven isn't that old because Edge is on Vikings now.
She might be watching reruns.
Syndication.
So I think the only person that ever left for Impact and came out of it better, like a WWE return, was, and there might be more. I'm just drawing a blank, except for Christian. Christian came out stronger,
and he was a straight up trade.
Yeah. No, they signed him once. He was there for
they signed him first, and then when he returned, it was a trade, and I never knew that till Pritchard said it. And I was like, I cannot believe that Impact actually got a WWE talent.
Yeah, and all he did was come out and announce Sting was going to the Hall of Fame or something.
I don't remember because there was there was a time when I only watched when the brand split was happening. I only watched Raw and TNA. I didn't watch SmackDown. I thought TNA was the shit because they had Road Dogg and K-Quick, Ron, whatever they call it, Ron the Truth Killings. They had that VKM with Konnan. That shit was dope.
Yeah, they had a lot, Nash. But
they had a killer roster.
Yeah, they had all the old WWE guys, the ones that actually mattered, the ones with the name value. That's what they basically built it off of back in the day. They had
the Young Bucks, Generation Me.
I saw a poster the other day, and it was the TNA roster, when Hogan and Bischoff were there and in charge or whatever, and it's just like this big picture of Styles, Joe, Young Bucks. It's like just think of everyone, Abyss, Jarrett, Foley, Hogan, boom, boom. They had all these names. It was ridiculous looking. I was like, damn, they couldn't get anywhere with that, and that's, I don't know. AEW, like I said, I like to watch it because guys like Jericho and Moxley, I'm there for that, and but some of that stuff they do, it's hard. You're not going to convince me that I want to see Kenny Omega versus Orange Cassidy in a pay-per-view main event. That's
I
crazy.
like Orange Cassidy, but you need to keep that match with some comedy and some intent. He doesn't need to necessarily be competing for the top championship.
Are they doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, they're hinting at it.
Cassidy has to beat Pac next week in the number one contenders match. Whoever wins that. So Omega versus Pac could be the match, but it seems to me
it would make sense that Pac doesn't win because they've already done Pac versus Omega so many times. Yeah. And he just praised Pac on the last show. Pac beat me, but you can't.
Well, that might be.
It's becoming predictable. It seems right with that angle.
I just don't agree with Tony's little hand-picked favorites, which is like Cassidy, Darby Allin.
Because those are the ratings pullers, though.
It's
the Darby Allin Sting match.
Old guy. So,
the Darby Allin Sting match fucking went over hot, right? Fucking Orange Cassidy's been internet fire for the last year or two because of his antics and just he is good, right? But he's too comical to be a world champion. You can't put him at a world champion level yet when he's still got his hands in his pockets running through ropes. He's got to have a gimmick shift or something.
I thought that they, people. All right, someone shows up. We don't want to give a WWE guy the title shot right away. Whatever. I figured Christian was coming in. Omega versus Christian is a pay-per-view main event. Omega versus Moxley in a rematch is a pay-per-view main event. There's main events on the show that they are on that team that they could have. But if you're telling me you want to sell me a pay-per-view for $64.95 and it's going to be Kenny Omega versus, a straight-up comedy wrestler, I can't believe I will not care. I'm like, no, you're fucking with me. You're not getting my money for this.
The same questions y'all asked on Keeping It 100. Like, where's Matt Hardy? Where's Hangman Page? Where the fuck was Lance Archer? The guy they brought in to be a main eventer, to be a monster, the Murder Hawk monster. He has a feud with Moxley. They slightly turn him babyface, you know, and he's cut these promos where you're wondering where they're going. He's aligned with Jake Roberts.
Yeah.
They failed at making that guy a star. I don't know if he's fully capable of it, but I think Brian Cage, they failed at making a star. Brian Cage promos aren't that good, but the in-ring's okay enough.
I said on the show, it seems like almost everyone is in a holding pattern or a standstill. Like they've been doing that with Archer for 2 years. For 2 years, Archer's been going, I'm the fucking Murder Hawk or whatever. I'm going to beat the shit out of everybody. And then 6 months later, I'm going to fucking beat the shit out of everybody. You'll see I'm Lance Archer. A year later, I'm going to fuck everybody up. And me and Jake, we're going to take this whole Dude, they've been saying it for 2 years and nothing happens.
Nope. Britt Baker's never come close to the women's title.
Britt Baker, well, she's going to wrestle for it at the pay-per-view now, finally. But,
Sheeta later.
But you're actually right. You know, she's another one in the holding pattern for 2 years. LAX came out and debuted on their big pay-per-view. And they've had like 2 times to shine in 2 years. That fucking parking lot match, and then this blood and guts. And there's so many more examples of guys that are just, you know, you had 2 years to get me to care about Orange Cassidy and change his character just enough to make him serious, and you haven't. It bothers me. I'm like, damn, they've been around 2 years, and it's like people still treat it like it's brand new, and these characters just debuted. No, they didn't. You just haven't taken advantage of the time.
I'd love it if he won the title and then just came back as Fire Ant. And would fucking just that's it. He's just a Fire Ant forever now. Pretty great.
Fucking Chikara.
I find that AEW is just like 2005, 2006 TNA. I'm tuning in for the roster, not the stories. Because where you look at WWE, who just released a shit ton of people, and people that are talented, you know, you mentioned the Iconics, Samoa Joe, they've been doing this for a while. They've been releasing talented people that you could see go somewhere else and survive and make a career. AEW has all this talent that hypothetically you would want in your company, but now they can't utilize them. And now on top of an overcrowded roster, you bring in celebrities like Shaq, like Mike Tyson to take away your fame or your shine. You have like this dark and this elevated people. You bring in all these, essentially these jobbers that aren't under contract that take up all this time, and nothing's really like, why is Miro still the best man if he already destroyed Kip Sabian and the wedding's over? It was a stupid gimmick to begin with, but I just figured they wanted to get Kip Sabian over because he ain't really done shit. And no one's going to really appreciate Kip besides he has a hot wife.
Well, if Kip comes back to get his heat back on Miro, like because Miro broke his arm in the door or whatever, no one's ever going to believe that Kip can beat up Miro, or
and no one's going to care about a face turn.
Yeah, no one's going to support that. And Miro's another thing. He came in, he was Rusev, he was a big star, he was a killer. You know, WWE messed with him some, whatever. People remember him as Rusev the Killer, and they just kind of he was in a holding pattern for almost a year. Now it's his holding pattern. He's with Kip. There's video games. There's a wedding. And it just kept going. You know, he beat some people up like once or twice. And that was it. And now
he hasn't had anything impressive on AEW. And he had plenty of it in WWE, even when he had shit stories.
Right. And now out of nowhere, they want me to, and I'm fine with it, because give him the fucking TNT belt. He's going to wrestle Darby next week. But it was just like, there's no build. There's nothing. I don't know what's happening here. You're just picking him up and dropping him in the title match, really.
Especially too, because everyone complains WWE treats title belts like props. Well, if you give it to Miro, it's like whether he's big enough or deserves it, you're using it as a prop to get someone over. You need to give it to someone that's like deserving more so. Like that giving the title to someone to get them over, like the Jinder Mahal title run. I enjoyed it because it was new. It's giving someone a shot. Let's see where this goes. But at the end of the day, he loses to AJ, so AJ could face Brock. You look back at that title reign, like, what it really do? Maybe bring some Indian viewers. Didn't do anything for me.
Didn't really do that either, from what I understand.
And it didn't elevate Jinder's career. He just reappeared on fucking main event. No one even watches that.
I don't know what the problem was there. He was injured, but who knows?
He was injured for like a year and had a bad rehab.
I feel like Mankind was the poster for that, the poster child for just giving the title to somebody to give him the title, right?
Yeah.
They gave it to him at like Raw after he fucking feuded for The Rock for a bit. Then he got it back and like feuded with Triple H for a bit. You know, when he was Cactus Jack or like towards around that time, or Mick Foley even, you know, and there wasn't really like but he never really like main evented too much. WrestleMania 16, 2000, whatever one you want to call it. You know, but yeah, he was seemingly just given the title to kind of get him over, give him the title, make him maybe because he earned it backstage, right? Longevity in his career, but just never really made sense to me. And they've done that with a bunch of people. Jinder Mahal, I forgot he even won the fucking title, to be honest.
Foley was like the guy to get other. He was like the champions and the main eventers are here, and Mick was like right here.
Yeah,
like he was Austin's first challenger. When he became
Mick always sold well and put the guy over, so it's like, oh, they're fucking champions.
And he could lose, and he's still believable to the audience.
So,
yeah. I think Darby Allin's next Mick Foley. I just worry that since Darby's doing this shit at a younger age, that he's going to be paralyzed by the time he's our age.
He's younger and skinnier. Mick had a big fat ass to land on, and so
Darby is a skinny emo kid.
Yeah.
Since we are pressed for time, I'm going to kind of rapid fire these questions. You probably got short answers anyways. Favorite wrestling video game?
No Mercy.
Oh, very good.
But that's like there's a game that I've played through the years called TEW, and it's from Grey Dog Software, and it's literally like you're the GM or the
booker.
You're the booker, and like I said on Konnan,
I still respect you, Booker, man.
I guarantee you, Tony Khan's been playing those games for years. I just know it.
That's how he books Wednesdays.
Yeah. So that's my nerdy game that I play. I don't really play it that much anymore because I don't have much time. But No Mercy is the regular video game, and TEW is the nerdy game I would pick.
So you're not a current like gamer dude. So that new WWE game's not exciting you at all.
No, the last one
was an abortion.
No, I mean I got back into it. And I liked the game, but so much time has passed. I think the last one that I bought and liked was like 2K14.
Oh, the controversy with the last one when they released 2K20 and it fucking sucked and had glitches and they lost. Yeah, they built it. They built an Xbox Xbox One game on a PlayStation 2 engine, so of course it looks shitty. I mean, how do you have a video game where the graphics decline? Do you have a favorite wrestling theme song? Jeff Jarrett, right?
NWO, the classic ones. NWO Austin.
Spend my days working hard on the go.
Razor Ramon.
Yes. Does that song just make you want to do cocaine? Just me? Okay, just me.
Razor Ramon, yeah. Raven's WCW song. Jericho's WCW song. That's some of the 90s ones are they're the ones that stick with me.
The X Factor Uncle Cracker theme.
Oh god. Hey, I think I owned an Uncle Cracker CD. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's cool. I did too. I wouldn't admit it though.
What do you think was the most successful music wrestling crossover? This can be an event, a show that maybe a band did. The worst that I can think of is the West Texas Rednecks versus the No Limit Soldiers from WCW and the Filthy Animals. That would be the worst. So if you can think of the best,
I actually have another worst, and it's from this year. What's that chick's name from New Year's Day? Because I hate her. Ash Costello? Yeah, Ash. She performed Rhea Ripley's theme song. Okay, it's screamed. It starts out by screaming, "This is my brutality." Ash goes out there and fucking talks. Worst performance I'd ever seen. It wasn't even worth the money booking her. I think she's a terrible person, a terrible band. That was bad. That was bad. Okay. Yeah, I know too much about that chick.
All right. I was thinking Limp Bizkit playing WrestleMania, right? That's what they played WrestleMania.
Was the top or the worst?
As a good one. It went over
what
well.
about POD with Rey Mysterio?
Oh, I know that happened.
Yeah, that didn't work for me.
Who was the band that played D-Generation? Who played their theme song, WrestleMania 14?
The DX band, Triple H's brother.
Yeah.
Who is Jenna thinking of? Google is failing me. I can't remember his name, but he was horrible. Total tool. Wore sunglasses. Thought he was hot-ish. Black hair, maybe blonde beard. I'm going to say Scott Steiner.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, that sounds like Scott Steiner, maybe.
Yeah.
Big pop
Super jacked on roids.
Yeah.
33% possibility of winning the match if there's like 33% of whatever. And
Yo,
Steiner
my new Twitter handle is gonna be Steiner's my math teacher.
Steiner mathematics or what?
Do you have a favorite diva or women in wrestling?
Tony Storm right now.
Ooh, she's got some large cheeks.
Yes, that is accurate. I was a big fan of Emma when she was around.
Neil Dashwood, yeah.
You know, as she changed her character in WWE, I just always thought she got the short end of the stick. Like her and Paige were the first two to really, start that movement in NXT.
She was a good worker,
and she never got the attention or the accolades that Paige got.
That shit was unfair. She should have had some more. But I did feel like where she kind of like got to be a decent worker, and I feel she never progressed. I feel Tenille Dashwood that we see in Impact now is the same Emma we saw like 6 years ago.
I meant to watch I know she had a title match with Perazo, and I was like, oh, that'll probably be good, but I never got to see it.
I think that might have been on the pay-per-view. Definitely wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
There's so many chicks that were awesome. You know, one chick that's underrated, I never hear anyone talk about. I saw her debut and I thought to myself, man, mind you, I'm a child. I'm like, 12, 13. I'm like, man, I really want to see her tits. And then sure enough, Jackie Gata had a nip slip live on SmackDown. They full on ripped her shirt down and her boobies were fully. Gata. Yep, from Tough Enough. She just, I don't know, man. Blonde. She was cute. She
married Charlie Haas.
Charlie Haas, yeah. They're happily divorced now.
Oh, happily divorced. Very nice.
I always liked her. I hate Bailey, not because of the way she looks. I just hate her in-ring work and her promos. And I shouldn't because she's from the Bay Area. I'm pretty sure me and her both went to SummerSlam 01, but I fucking hate her in-ring work.
I mean, I like her. I like Charlotte. I think most of their top women are good, Sasha,
they're great, but I hate Bailey.
I love Charlotte. Bailey's not even that bad. I don't mind Bailey. I'm a
hater.
And once you get out of the top tier, though, like, I don't know if there's Buff Bagwell.
What's your
God? Will my mom shave my coin purse for me, Buff Bagwell?
We were just talking about the Judy Bagwell on a pole match, so that's pretty coincidental.
Judy Bagwell on a forklift.
Let me know what your favorite breaking kayfabe moment was. Do you have one or a couple of specific moments that really stood out to you? The curtain call is always popular.
Yeah.
The Montreal screw job is like probably the most epic, right?
That incident in Mexico where the dude threw the concrete cinder block at the other guy and paralyzed him.
What about the dude that died? That was a good one in Mexico.
Oh yeah, the guy that died that Rey Mysterio dropped.
Rey Mysterio fucking killed.
He didn't kill him.
Hey, what? Yeah,
he was dead before the drop kick. But anyway.
Yeah, no, that's what happened, right? He hit him with a 619, but he drop kicked him into the rope and then he died, right?
Kicked him and he fell perfectly into the 619 position, and Ray went to do it, and I guess the guy was supposed to counter, and he goes, "Yo, something's wrong. Come here."
Yeah, he was already dead,
unconscious at least. Yeah,
that's horrible. We should not make fun of that.
Now we start talking about it, and I forgot my kayfabe moment. Fuck,
my bad.
Okay, here's one that's kind of not. You probably never heard this one before. You know who Necro Butcher is?
Yeah, I've heard of him. He's like a JCW dude.
He was a crazy hardcore wrestler from the 2000s, and he was also in the movie The Wrestler as the hillbilly guy that beat the shit out of Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
In their match in the arena. That's Necro Butcher. So he was in some kind of violent cage match in CZW, and he didn't like what this guy Justice Payne was doing, how he reacted to something.
Yeah,
so he pushes him into the corner and just lights him up with he just punches him in the face 6 times. Whack, 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 whack. It's tremendous. And then someone just hits him with a forearm and he sells it, and that was it. He just needed to get that out, but he drills him. It's pretty. I like it. I'm a fan of that.
I'm gonna take a wild guess and say you've watched a lot of CZW, Mr. East Coaster.
No, I mean I watched a lot of ECW, of course, and then after that, I would attend events at the arena that I've seen. It's like the litany of just. Initials. I saw 3 PW events.
Yeah.
Some CZW events, PWU, Jersey All Pro. I would go see stuff at the arena just because it was there and we could go drink and whatever. And I'm a South Philly fan.
I'm so jealous that you got to go to the ECW arena. I've always wanted to go to that piss-filled arena.
My last show that I was down there, me and Konnan had like a little meet and greet with some subscribers from Patreon, and then afterwards I was so happy to be at a wrestling show and out in South Philly afterwards that I walked to a nearby bar, and I can't remember the name of it, but there was 2 guys there I used to work with. I was like, oh, this is fucking one of those nights, you know. But no, I never got like CCW had like their audience, everyone that loved what they did.
And they were so intense, dude.
Yeah, and
too intense times.
It wasn't like for a casual fan. If you showed up, you didn't really know what was going on and stuff. People like, you know,
that was the first place I had ever heard someone used a weed whacker in a match.
Yeah, I was at like their 3rd or 4th show in like '98 when they first started, and Zandig or somebody, it was like Zandig and the wife beater. Tremendous.
That's a great name. Jesus Christ.
At the end of the match, they had Zandig like tied up or incapacitated somehow. So they took out the string, this barbed wire, like a barbed wire strand, and they whip him on the back. Whack, whack, whack. It's real barbed wire. It's cutting him open. It's bleeding. It's catching his skin. And then they pulled out a bottle of lemon juice.
No.
They poured the lemon juice all over the open cuts. Oh my God. Everyone's like, what the hell? They reached into their little bag. Oh, it's a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Oh no.
Whiskey all over the open cuts. And then finally it was like a bottle of hot sauce or something. All over the cuts. It was quite the first impression that CCW gave me. So
I'm always shocked that I hear that there was talent like I believe Leo Rush came out of CCW. I know
Janela.
Moxley. What was the other one you said?
Janela, Callahan.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, Sanjay Dutt came out of there.
Yo, and now he's backstage at WWE.
Yeah. Oh, Owens and Sami Zayn worked there a lot as a tag team. So.
Oh shit, I did not even know that.
Yeah.
I just watched some of that WWE Best of series, and I went through the Hell in a Cell matches. And outside of the Classic 2, I had a problem with most of the other ones. Do you think Hell in a Cell matches suck now?
Yeah, because everything's been done. I think the last really good one, they had one with Brock and Undertaker, right? Where they like pulled the mat up and shit like that. Or am I like confusing 2 matches?
Ooh, I think you might be. I will
think
say
Brock and Taker were in there. I'm not
the New Day. The New Day versus the Usos, where it might have been the first tag team Hell in a Cell, but they did this shit where they trapped one of the Usos in the corner and then stuck kendo sticks through the cell and trapped him in the corner. That was the most innovative shit I'd ever seen. I thought that match, that was like the last innovative one they did.
Yeah, you got to show me something new. You know, that's why I thought the Blood and Guts match was good, but it was also kind of like, we're just doing cage match spots. I've seen, just give me something else, you know?
It was good till the end. Like, they could have twerked the end and made it a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think authority figures are whack?
Yeah. I mean, again, I've seen it a million times with many different people and many different face and heels and turns and all this. It's over. Vince and Eric were the guys to do it back then, and Heyman. You know, Foley was a really good one.
Scott D'Amore in Impact has become that guy now.
Good, yeah, but like
he's a little more realistic. I dig it. Yeah.
The typical like, I'm the bad guy boss. So I'm gonna make you do things because I don't like you, but I'll keep you employed. But I don't like you, and you know, that was done. That's been done forever. They did it with the most success in the late '90s, and they did it a million more times to less and less and less success. So it's not necessary.
It's weird that they both follow, and I'm only thinking about this watching old ECW stuff, but both Eric Bischoff and Vince McMahon, the ones in control, were both commentators, and they both decided that they were going to abandon their commentating post and all of a sudden be revealed as like the owners. And I know that Vince's was a little unceremoniously, right? I think Hart or somebody called him out, like, you know, unintentionally or whatever, or intentionally, but the fact that they both took that angle, then they both became shithead bosses, and then they both abused their people, and they both like turned on the corporations. They both followed this weird, like aggressive suit.
And everybody remembers McMahon and Austin, but actually Eric was doing it first.
Yeah. NWO. Yeah, he turned on everybody
by like a year.
Yeah, everybody.
They tried to do it. They tried to recreate that McMahon Austin feud with Stephanie and Ronda. I thought it failed miserably. Stephanie with me, like, I mean, I respect her in real life, but as that character, she has go home heat with me. Like, I don't ever want to see that character on TV.
It's because she wouldn't get over on everybody, and there'd never be any comeuppance. The only times that there was
she never ever got her. Yeah, she never got hers.
Vicky Guerrero threw in some mud or something. I remember that, and Ronda beat the fuck out of her and broke her arm.
Vicky Guerrero was perfect because she would annoy you week after week after week, and then boom, they do something to her. And in real life, Vicky's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a couple top fives here. I think Brian has some too. My top 5 iconic wrestling moments. Let's see if you agree or have any of your own. Number 5, this could be on another list, but Mae Young gives birth to a hand. God, I fucking loved that.
That's one of the worst things.
Was it Patterson or Briscoe who threw up?
Briscoe or Patterson?
It's Briscoe. I think because Briscoe is known to have like a weak stomach.
Yeah, that was good shit. Number 4, the Stone Cold Beer Truck. Gotta love that.
Yeah, that was tremendous. Another thing that they tried to redo in a million different forms, but that you'll never beat the first time.
I thought because this is an honorable mention, Kurt's milk truck was a close second.
Equally
that
good.
Worked.
It was funny. It was funny.
and it was unique.
Funny.
It was milk.
The original,
that worked. The other shit didn't. Number 3 might be only for me because I think some other people like thought this was stupid, but Vince McMahon opening up WCW Nitro / Shane stealing WCW from him, because when I watched that, I was the type of guy that Nitro came on at 7, Raw came on at 8, or it was 8 or 9, whatever.
Yeah.
I'd turn on Nitro and I saw Vince and I didn't think anything of it because I thought I turned into Raw. And I go, oh shit, wait a minute, I'm on TNT. What the fuck? Because he goes, I just bought WCW. That did some shit to me, man, because I read all the dirt sheets and I don't know if it was reported the day of, but it definitely was not reported the day before. So that shit blew me away.
Yeah. For being someone that watched the entire Monday Night Wars basically until WCW got really putrid in late 2000, like that was definitely a huge moment.
Yeah.
That shit was wild. Number 2, I think everyone could agree with this. Scott Hall appears on Nitro.
Yeah.
Because that launched the NWO, that officially launched the Monday Night Wars. That was awesome.
It brought me back as a fan, you know.
Number 1 could be part of Brian's breaking kayfabe moments. The most iconic wrestling moment, and this is only with hindsight, is the Montreal Screwjob. Like, for me, I mean, it's not really a good thing or like a bad thing per se. It was just so insane that happened, that's a story, and now we know the details of Brett knocking him out in the shower and leaving the company, the way he spells WCW, like spitting on McMahon. That was real.
Yeah. That was what in my kayfabe moments. I mean, you have great points. I'm probably the only one that feels this way, but it just stands out in my mind because of the buildup and then finally the realization of who it was. But when they were teasing Chris Jericho in WWF with the Y2K countdown, and it didn't match up to the end of the year. You knew something was coming in the summer. I think it was before SummerSlam that it happened.
I had no idea who that was.
During the Rock's promo, and at the time, right, you had Scott Hall and the WWF guys go over a little bit earlier to WCW. You did have crossover, but there wasn't anybody that was coming over, and it was like, boom, we took such and such from whoever, right? We took Jericho from WCW. When it said Jericho and it fucking went across the screen and he's standing there, that pop is to me still the biggest pop anybody's ever gotten.
Might be the best debut ever.
Yeah, because first he's interrupting The Rock, and then their chemistry was beautiful because The Rock got him back immediately. Same segment, and all of a sudden you had Jericho.
What's your name?
Yes,
it doesn't matter what
immediately, and like from then on, Jericho was a WWF star. He was in either a title fight or like some sort of main capacity.
I wouldn't say that because he actually ended up in limbo for the first 6 months. He had some weird shit. He got into that angle with China. He didn't enjoy being a co-champion with her.
Yeah.
But there was some weird stuff. And for like, he was supposed to be a part of WrestleMania 2000 and they pulled him for Mick.
Yeah. Oh no, we lost him. What happened?
Yo, his face was frozen.
Oh, dang.
I'm sure he knows what to do.
2.5 hours in or what?
I know, right?
I'm good on questions too. So
I just have one more top 5, but my honorable mentions for that top 5 iconic moments. One of my favorite moments ever: Stone Cold versus Booker T in the Green Frog grocery store. It was in Bakersfield, California. It was during SmackDown. They were going to shut down this store, and WWE paid a certain fee to go in and destroy it.
Right.
And they had Booker T and Stone Cold fight down every aisle. It was real comical. It was funny. I think it kind of made both of them. It made their rivalry.
Stone Cold hit him with a box of cereal, if I remember. He ran at him like the box of cereal was a chair. Crack! And hit him in the head with it.
He said he's having connection issues at the house. Where is? Just click that link again. Send. What the fuck? But no, I just thought that was funny as shit. And then Stone Cold's like, price check on a jackass. That was good. Stone Cold versus Bret Hart double turn is pretty iconic. But Stone Cold never beat Bret, right?
Yeah. But he also, technically didn't lose either, right? He didn't tap in the I Quit match, passed out.
I mean, he didn't tap, but he did lose.
Yeah,
he passed out. Yeah. The same thing with like Mick Foley and Ken Shamrock. Mick gave himself the mandible claw to pass out.
Yeah. Also, I mean, that's another point. Wasn't the Stone Cold Booker T? Wasn't Booker T like shopping for wasn't he looking at melons and like doing something? And
he was looking at cereal
and Stone Cold cracked a beer. And
that was afterwards. Stone Cold made an announcement over the PA. He said something about the aisle that he was standing on. And so he looks around and he goes down a different aisle, and then Stone Cold's behind him and cracks the beer. And when Booker turns around, Stone Cold clocks him with it.
Yeah.
I have another top 5. This is my last one. It's going to be top 5 dumbest angles or segments. Let's see how many of these you remember. Okay, number 5. Snitsky punting Lita's baby.
I didn't even know Lita had a baby.
Okay, so Lita had a baby. Take one guess as who the father was on the roster.
It wasn't Edge or Matt Hardy?
Nope. You guessed it. It was Kane.
What?
Yes, they basically had a pregnancy angle with Lita and Kane. They kind of insinuated that there might have been some forcefulness. I don't know. It was very strange. Number 4, the entire run of Michael Cole as a heel was fucking stupid. Number 3,
was he just kissing Vince's ass? That's when he was like super high on like whoever the ones in charge were, right?
He was praising the heels. He was aligned with Jack Swagger. He had a plastic case around him at the commentary booth that he called the coal. He called it the coal mine.
Yeah,
I fucking hated that shit, dude. It was bad because you couldn't take him seriously. Like now it's fine because it's been so much time, but like when that all ended, it was like, how can I take you serious when like you were just doing all this dumb shit? Number 3, the anonymous Raw GM. I don't know if they even ever like determined who it was, but it was supposed to be Hornswoggle, but they wanted Hornswoggle to talk with a Jersey accent and he couldn't pull it off. And so they canceled the whole fucking thing. It was stupid. Number 2, Vince's illegitimate son is Hornswoggle. I don't know that was just a dumb joke. That was stupid. But the worst.
I didn't remember any of these fucking angles, bro. No,
bro. Do you remember Hornswoggle?
Yeah, the midget. Yeah, of course. But I don't remember that being an angle.
Yeah, the little guy, the leprechaun. He was Finley's little leprechaun.
Aren't real.
Hornswoggle is. Yeah, that shit was stupid. Do you remember the anonymous Raw GM? It was a laptop, and it would get updates. You'd hear like
just make decisions.
Yep, it was stupid. I swear I thought that shit was going to be revealed to be Michael Cole. It would have made more sense, and it would have played into that heel shit he was doing at the time. But the number 1 dumbest angle or segment that they've ever done is easily Katie Vick. Do you know what that is? Okay, good. Okay, Katie Vick was a storyline where they claimed that Kane like raped and killed a chick named Katie Vick. And so Triple H goes to a funeral home and gets into a casket and pretends to hump the dead body of Katie Vick. It's just all tasteless, poor, stupid. Like none of this. None of this should have ever have been done in wrestling. The worst part about it, I found this out way after the fact. Bruce Pritchard said this on his podcast. They filmed it at a real funeral home while a real funeral was going on in the next room and they're humping
Stop.
a dead body.
Stop.
Okay. Honorable mentions, any miscarriage angle. I'm talking about you, Lita. Everything they did with Mike and Maria Kanellis, they totally botched their return. It was awful. Jason Jordan being Kurt Angle's son, that was kind of stupid. And then, as much as I loved it, Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
Oh man, I vaguely remember the Stone Cold Booker T feud, and I want to say Stone Cold was also like a firefighter at one point. Why was Stone Cold the best at disguising himself? He was a fucking doctor in the fucking hospital and fucked up McMahon. He was in the grocery store and fucked up Booker T. I'm almost positive he was a fireman, and it was the what angle, and like he was like, it was I'm almost positive. Booker T Vince McMahon was a pretty great tandem. Is he not coming back on? Did he just did he pipe bomb us?
What if he's like hella lying? There's no outage.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm done with the podcast.
Yo, JoJo, what internet do you have? I'm gonna check if there's actually an outage in your area.
2 hours was my limit.
He said outage locally in my area.
Okay.
I believe him.
Man. Well, hey Matt, where can they find you? Where can they find you at? An abrupt end to this episode.
Second or third longest podcast ever.
Yeah, we're gonna have some editing problems for sure, but hey, that's what we got JoJo for. What are we?
Dude, he costs too much. We could not afford JoJo right now. You can easily find me at all these addresses right here. I'm on Instagram all the time, posting memes and promos for upcoming episodes at iHateTheScene. You can find me on Twitter talking shit about Ice Nine Kills or Our Last Night or probably J. Cole. You can find that Twitter at IHTE_THEScene. That's because some dumb son of a bitch stole our Twitter handle.
You need to drop us your fan questions at that Twitter handle. I refuse to call people out. We're taking a turn, Matt. We're making this show family friendly. And you know what? We need people to support the podcast. We need people to like, subscribe, and follow. And you can engage with us by dropping your fan questions.
Deliver the fucking joke. He just goes into a fucking promo for some seconds.
Your fan questions, baby, at IHateTheScene on Twitter.
You can also catch us every Friday night. We stream at the exact same fucking time every week. That is 8 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. And we stream on youtube.com/c/iHateTheScene, as well as twitch.tv/iHateTheScene. And maybe if you're lucky, we'll get back to streaming on Facebook again at facebook.com/iHateTheScene. But in the meantime, rate, review, subscribe, unsubscribe, re-rate, re-review, or follow, whatever the fuck they're calling it now. Apparently subscribe means you buy shit, so they're stupid. Yo, Jenna Biello, thank you for sticking with us the whole time. Sorry, JoJo had internet connections. We definitely appreciate you. We appreciate Bitter Rose. We appreciate everyone that's been on. It's been a fun time.
What was Bitter Rose's last one? Said about Vince McMahon?
Earlier today, I was thinking about how old Donald Trump had a storyline on WWE a while back, and Vince McMahon shaved his head at the end. That was the WrestleMania Battle of the Billionaires, where they had Umaga represent one. I think so. It was Umaga versus Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, and the loser got to shave the other one's head, right? Stone Cold was the referee or whatever. Yeah, Stone Cold shaved him, didn't he? Didn't Stone Cold hold him down?
Did they shave? They didn't shave Donald Trump's head. I thought they shaved Vince's head.
Yeah. But Stone Cold helped him because he hates Vince. And in turn, there's a turn. There's always a turn.
Yeah, it makes sense. We do. Okay, so JoJo said he'll come back if we could do a favor and promote his Twitters. Okay, so you need to follow JoJo Feeney at, what is it? Definitely don't follow his or tag his dad's account because it's similar and you'll look stupid like I did. JF Feeney 3rd, the CC Network 1, and K100 Konnan. Those are all Twitter handles. So at JF Feeney 3rd, at the CC Network 1, at K100 Konnan. And you know what? Go follow Raven because he's also on the Raven podcast, Raven Effect, and that shit's funny.
Cult the Raven. Nevermore.
Yeah, Raven was the shit. His podcast is a little wonky. Brian, where can they find you?
You guys can find me at @OfBrian of Death on Twitter and Instagram. Hear all my weird thoughts, all my sexy thoughts, maybe some sexy DMs, slide up in them, you know what I'm saying? We've also got The Common Chaos Podcast. You can check that out at commonchaos.net or The Common Chaos on Instagram and Twitter. Matt, who do we have for him next week? And yeah, what else you got for me, baby?
That is a great question. Who do we have next week?
What you got, baby? What you got, baby?
Next week we have songster R&B singer Kyle Lucas is going to be joining us. You may know him from his collaborations with Captain Midnight or the canceled Johnny Craig. But Kyle Lucas has some great fucking songs out there. I met the dude once in Atlanta. Super fucking cool. He didn't have any business speaking to me or being as nice as he was, and he was dope. So I'm looking forward to that. May 21st, episode 59, we're bringing out Australian pop punk band Stuck Out. So I'm looking forward to that shit as well. It's going to be some good guests. And after that, who the hell knows? Maybe we'll bring back Joe Feeney just to talk top fives for 2.5 hours.
Good shit, man. Good wrestling podcast. Good first one under the belt. I'm excited, baby. The champ. You got your belt on. We did good. We did. It was good.
ECW champ. I didn't even get to ask the Philly guy about ECW stuff, man. It fucked up. ECW. So maybe I'll do top 5 ECW moments. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. We love you. We'll be back next week. Any last words, Brian?
Yeah, is this where I get to show my dick? I'm pretty sure this is where I get to show my dick.
I knew I was fucked.